Ah! That's your intro. This is the prediction for Raven Phoenix. And today I am joined by not Akil. I know. I mean, he's here in spirit. You'll see. But this is not Akil. This is. I'm pretty sure you've not been here before. In fact, I think this is. Have you been here? I don't think you've been on a prediction before.
This is my first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've never been in a call before.
Yeah.
Which explains why, naturally, as people who have never spoken before, we managed to waste an hour of prediction time talking about nothing. So,
This all started for like the super floor or something, I think.
so, for people wondering, Akil has sent me a document with Phoenix Force stuff. Now, I might make fun of this document a little bit, but I'm not disrespecting Akil at all. He put a lot of time into making this. It's just a matter of the way in which Akil does certain scaling is just a bit different the way I would. But as I said, versus debating is subjective. This is his take, and I will respect his take. But you can't have multiple boundless characters, Akil. Come on. Anyway, yeah. So this is for Raven from DC versus the Phoenix Asterix from Marvel. Because I do not know which Phoenix. I imagine they're just going to do Jean Grey at a hypothetical peak with the full power of the Phoenix Force.
Probably, yeah.
And this is where I bring up that I mentioned that blog as really cool, and now it is gone. I cannot find it. The original page is leaked.
I don't blame him, since I know, like,
I don't blame him.
the person who's researching, like...
Yeah, one of the researchers on... They might bring it back after, I don't know. That blog was really good, though. And let's... people probably expect me to be like really negative towards this matchup, but like I've only gotten more positive as the week's gone on, which might be because this has been a waiting period that's not been utter agony, which is a nice reprieve.
I feel like an outsider anytime people bring up like waiting periods because I'm currently not on a server, so it's like I see like people talk about like these like war stories, like they just came out of the trenches, and I'm just like, you know, that's pretty crazy. I was playing Street Fighter 6 though, that was pretty hyped now. I can say.
Yeah, Veda Roboto and Rocket Stitch did not have the only waiting periods that have been good and not Marvel DC are the one where nobody knew the characters, so the entire waiting period was talking about anything other than Killua or Misaka, and Chosenborn, which was like the normal one, the good one. That's the good one of the season so far. Because people knew them, people talked about them, people disagreed, but they were respectful about it. It was fun.
Yeah.
What a wild concept.
Did Aunt Adam not go well?
No, Aunt Adam was fine, but it's Marvel DC. Marvel DC, like, it's always the same people talking to each other, and then everyone who's not interested just kind of do whatever for the 2 weeks. Like me.
That is fair. That is fair.
My big interest in this matchup is that my whole whole taste in girls is purple hair or red hair. And like, I mean, look at these two. It's literally purple hair versus red hair. Like, yeah, okay. And I like birds. I like birds. These might be avian dinosaurs and not non-avian dinosaurs, which are my preferred, but I like avian dinosaurs still, so I'm cool with that. I'm assuming you know what a non-avian and avian dinosaur distinction is.
Yes, yes.
Oh god. So, and as I already told you, Raven is just me, but the woman version, with the purple hair and the black outfit and the trouble controlling her emotions and the deadpan delivery of all of her lines all the time. just like me, for real. And I've not really watched Teen Titans. I think I've got the whole series on DVD, and it's just another one of those series that's in this massive collection of physical media I have that I've just not had the time to watch. Never become a YouTuber, kids.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi. Most of you probably don't know me.
Oh yeah, I didn't introduce you!
So, so most of you, if you're not well within verses, and even then, you probably don't fully know me. My name is the Black Shelf. That is in fact how it. That is my name. There is no if, ands, or buts.
First name
And
Thor.
the funny thing is, in most cases, I don't normally participate in the Ultimate Comic stuff. Not because I dislike all matches. Like, of course, there are some I'm not interested in, but I make an exception for this one because I really like both characters. Teen Titans is really cool, and that was like one of the first cartoons ever I watched. Shocker. Phoenix, I eventually grew to love over time, mostly because I stepped away from Marvel 3 for a bit. But I'm not gonna get mad at her for Marvel 3. That's just what they. Hopefully one day
I hate to tell
Dark
you,
Phoenix gets it.
you talk about Ultimates, but Marvel Ultimates isn't involved in this matchup actually. So I'm just saying.
Honestly, it might be for the best.
I mean,
God, what is he?
yeah.
I should probably ask that kill. What is? Oh shit! No, Ultimate Gene. That's where Wolverine is a creep. Never mind.
Oh!
Go back.
Ultimates did Ultimates do anything right?
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. What am I saying? Of course, yeah.
I always remember Ultimate Spider-Man the show. It did the body swap with Wolverine and Spider-Man in the comics. And Wolverine in the comics, he's a creep by intention because sure. But then in the show, they still pull that twist. And it's you can tell they forgot that Wolverine's supposed to be hundreds of years old and is this gruff ass old man. So he still hits on Mary Jane.
Oh no!
And it's just hey, wait a minute!
No.
I think they forgot. This is the longest Spidey show, and it's the only one that gets Ancient Venom and stuff.
Oh no! This is not okay. This makes me unhappy. I mean, there is also the debatable ethical issues of the fact that in the 616 comics, one of Wolverine's sexual fantasies involves Squirrel Girl.
Didn't they? Is she not an adult? What the fuck?
I don't. The thing is, I think she is now, but I do not know her age when they first implied a relationship, or how long ago that relationship was, and that's why people raise an eyebrow and are unsure on that whole situation and whether that's okay.
You know what? Maybe all this talk. You know what? This was another addition to Raven G. They're commonly associated with questionable.
Right.
Questionable. I cannot wait for when Slade actually comes back because it's gonna be 2 weeks of so many jokes about
It's gonna be in the weaknesses page on his sidebar, underage girls.
You just see Terra in quotation marks.
Likes Terra. It's really funny because everyone a lot of people for a while would bring up Green Lantern over Slade, at least with Hal they retconned it, so they were actually for this alien she was of legal age for her species, but with Slade they were just nah, he fucked a kid.
It's Slade is supposed to be a monster, so I get it. I get you not changing it, but also, holy shit.
There are some lines that are just uncomfortable to cross, you know?
I'm sure they were looking at that source material for the show, and they're just ayo, I think we have to make some changes. This ain't right.
This ain't it, Chief. My man's wasn't cooking. Man cooked nothing.
Yeah. So really back to why this is because I really like this match out of all the bajillion Marvel DC stuff, I thought, you know what, this could be pretty fun. And thankfully, there's been a lot of preliminary research done by many people who are really good at this stuff, and it's just also some stuff I've kept in mind is coming into this. But again, thankfully, there's been a lot of people who are really good at this stuff, and I thought some of them would show up, but
No, you're the only person who contacted. I mean, with Akil, He's currently away, and he's got really bad internet, so he literally could not be here.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
obviously with Bang, he's not going to be back for another week, so he obviously couldn't be here either. Uh, so it's just you, which is funny because ironically, last matchup where you messaged me, there were like four people already jumped on. It's like,
Yeah.
let's be on this, and it was like the second longest prediction, third longest if you count both parts of Madara Aizen as one. Um,
You know, I'm gonna like, I will, if Gojo Maka is this season, then I'll hope to be just to see how if Cyber's mad. I know he will get on it. There is no.
there are like some matchups like I know who's going to be on it when it happens. Like I people have already talked for Bill Cord. I already know one person in particular who's going to be there for Colex, who will fly to Australia just to hit me over the head if I tell him no. Um, I know with Gojo Makaba it's going to be Cyber. Same with Palpanaut. Even though I've already written like a very comprehensive conclusion that decides who the winner of the matchup is, because I'm very smart. Obviously, Sheev's gonna win. Uh,
My boy.
if Galacticron ever happens, I will probably just tackle that solo, because I do not need to be sitting here with Akil telling me that actually True Form Galactus is above Lifebringer Galactus, who's above regular full-fed Galactus, who's like infinite dimensional. I don't need to hear that. Let me rep my boy Unicron, and then end it with, by the way, he's gonna fucking die anyway, but at least he'll at least if you consider that he exists in the Marvel multiverse and he ate an entire universe, he's at least like you could bullshit him to be infinite dimensional. He's not gonna win, but my man's got
It,
something.
it could be worse. Actually, it could be
I mean,
worse.
Unicron almost certainly beats a Starving Galactus. I think a Starving Galactus just gets hard swept by a full power Unicron. I think a moderately fed Galactus would be a decent fight against Unicron, and then once you get to well fed, that's the end of it. He killed a Celestial with a backhand, essentially.
He's gonna shoot him with his ultimate gun, his nullifier. He's gonna shoot him.
Even a Starving a Starving Galactus could still win with it. I just think that Starving Galactus is like as fast as Herald's, so he's slower, and he's as strong as Herald, so he's weaker, so he dies.
Even with all he has, he's gonna just like it's gonna just be like this clip I saw where it's like this dude's powering up to his super pro. It's like, all right, I'm activating. And then he's gonna be like, just shoots him, and the guy's like, well, shit, that did happen.
It's gonna be really funny that the kill in Galacticon is going to be the ultimate nullifier, and it's gonna be like the lamest thing ever because the nullifier is this tiny little block that looks like nothing. And like that's gonna be the kill. Galactus is gonna be like, so I pull up with this box, and then I say, you lose, and he die, and that's it.
It's like his spirit gun, but it doesn't. It could be like his spirit gun.
Spirit gun.
No, he's just gonna be like, and now I shall nullify you in this cosmos of infinity. You do not exist in any realm now. And he shoots him.
I just imagine Unicron's last line is just, "Why did you say it that way?" What are you?
Unicron's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, Shakespeare. Yeah, Unicron lost the fight, but like Galactus just revealed he's got no Riz, and before he wins.
Who are you trying to? Who's he gonna try to? He's gonna be like some grandma stuffings or some shit. Like he's gonna try to win someone who can cook. Like just knows how to cook really good.
I like that. Galactus has one child, and Unicron has a bunch of children. So like, if you were to use number of children as like a measurement of how chadly they are, then Unicron like fucks way more than Galactus ever does. Like Galactus has a kid who's basically like a tumor that came sentient, while Unicron's got he's got all these little offspring, like he's spawned, he's got his sideways, he's got Tarantulas, he's got all this offspring, he's got a full-on family. Galactus has a fucking Twitter celebrity as a daughter.
Have you seen that new Invincible special with Adam Eve at all?
No, I've not actually. I really need to.
Oh, oh. I guess I don't want to. I don't want to spoil. I guess like there's just this specific part, and I just imagine like if he takes a photo, if like there's just a photo of a family, and like Unicron just hangs up his photo, he just like has all these fuckers, and Galactus is just like, you know, my man, I have nothing, fucking nothing. I literally saw my race of people, like, which is weird, but like they're just gone, man. You're lucky.
Fucking got Galactus, like he's got his family photo. It's literally just him, and then like 1 pixel of his tiny daughter on the side.
It's too.
His tumor. And Unicron's like, dude, why your tumor built like that? Why she need chesticles like that, bruh? What's the point?
Oh my
So dumb.
Well, you know. So should we just start with like Jean or
So Jean, do we want to start with you or what Akil's written? Because what Akil's written is like basically hieroglyphs to me.
So I don't want to kill people right now. I got already a couple murders on my hands. I gotta add another one right now. So we can like start off, I guess, with like the basic shit, which would be like stats. You know, everyone's favorite topic, especially when it comes to Marvel and DC.
Let's start with the basic shit. Dark Phoenix is not Jean Grey. Dark Phoenix is not Jean Grey. They are different characters.
Yeah. So the point is, like, I'm pretty sure Jean has not been the Phoenix Force like that many times in the grand scheme of things.
From Speedy at one point that it was like 3 times. I may be misremembering the number he gave. One of them I think is an alternate universe. Jean is not like the Phoenix Force has been in a bunch of characters. Jean is just the most well known. Except technically she isn't, because the most well known is Dark Phoenix, which is like a clone of Jean that the Phoenix Force made to be its own host or something. Which is
that's a thing.
That is so cataclysmically stupid.
So
it's canon.
Yeah. So we want to start absolutely the most small of small, like bitty bullshit that's not gonna matter, but you know, you gotta build up the when she's like what, Marvel Girl? Like, you know, she's like roughly in the same like league as like people like Scarlet Witch, Thor, and like stuff. There's like panels I know of her like blasting them away. I can just link them right quick. Thankfully that there's, and I'm sure like we have like we all have like know like what Thor and stuff can do in the show. Like you've seen Thor Vegeta, you know, blah blah blah. He can like destroy the Marvel universe because he like scales the Big Bang here. There's a universal thing here. Like you've seen this song and dance at least too many times. Probably it's like hibernated in your brain. But he's like, but yeah, like Jean's like also like in early times and also like done stuff like I believe push away the Avengers and some stuff with some attacks. And there's like, and like she knocked down Apocalypse, I believe. And that's like the baby stuff, you know. This is like, and I guess this is with telekinesis, but whatever. Oh yeah, I think she's also like block Black Bolt's like hits.
Yeah, but you know, Black Bolt's a fucking loser.
Black Bolt is a loser. This like, fucking goober can't do shit.
But like knowing his reputation as the guy who screams planets away, and then finding out the best he has is like, oh, this card in this one game looks like he might be destroying a planet, and like the rest of the time, he's like barely even using his voice. He's like shooting lasers and shit. It's like that is so lame.
I want Black Bolt to just be like this ignorant like version of like the Toriko dude. He doesn't care. He just starts shouting at you like he has no tomorrow. Just make him more. He can control his shout. I would think the guy who has practiced this art of not like saying anything in his sleep would know how to like make like basic sonic blast. But no, if he so much as like whispers, it's like it's gonna cause like an avalanche. So never have this man just
Black Bolt,
step on the thumbtack.
Black Bolt just hears a really funny joke and accidentally kills his whole family.
He kills all the Inhumans as faster than Marvel did.
It's fucking it's like, hey, Black Bolt, are you all right? And Black Bolt shakes his head. He's like, no, you're all left. Ha! Wipes out all of Adelan, or whatever it's called.
He just like someone just punches him really hard. He just coughs, and then you just see a bunch of children and people just get absolutely atomized by accident.
Johnny Cage just runs up and punches him in the nuts, and he just like destroys all of Mortal Kombat by accident.
He has to it's like in Tekken how you can like kick Brian Fury, but he just tanks it. Black Bolt just has to hold it in. He still takes the damage, but he just has to like just make this face that just shows he has to like avoid the feeling of his nuts being obliterated.
he's gonna be really unhappy when someone starts like shaking a bit of pepper over his nose. It's like a fucking cartoon. He lives his life forever in like that feeling of when you got a sneeze about to come out but it doesn't come out. That's how he lives his life forever. It's like the worst. God forbid he stubs his toe.
God forbid he steps on a Lego.
Black Bolt's worst enemy: children leaving toys around and corners.
So, if you've all seen, if you've like watched other predictions or just know this community, you should like. I don't think I need to tell you like the absolute minuscule Marvel stuff because what you're here for is the Phoenix Force,
like the Herald stuff. They just to set it straight right now. Raven as well, bare minimum. Herald, kind of a meaningless term in a lot of ways, but like you know what I mean when I say that. Like from that universal to multiversal range, depending on your like how you want to scale things, whether you consider the universe as infinite size or not. Like minimum, they're in that range, right?
Yeah. Raven actually, I believe her first big debut is like, I can destroy a universe if I go out of control.
Well, that seems nice and blatant to me.
Let me go find it. Oh.
Yeah, I want to see that. That sounds so funny. Like it's like how like when Beyonder showed up, it was the first thing he does is just like fucking gas himself up.
Oh man, I wish I could make this image. Wish they let me copy this shit much easier, but oh well. I found it. I just gotta get a good image. Here it is. Yeah, that's like, this is like Teen Titans issue 2 or some shit. This is the first thing she does. Like, he just says like, damn, why?
Oh, perhaps, but your powers could not destroy a universe if left uncontrolled. Mine do that and more!
What the hell?
That doesn't even look like Raven. Which is funny, because like, obviously like her design must have changed, right, over time.
Yeah, she has like a bajillion designs.
Like I can tell that's Starfire and Beast Boy though.
But yeah, there's like they have some of their own feats. Like they've done crazy shit.
So
like, Phoenix Force.
When we talk about Phoenix Force, do we want to just go to the document and just read out what's written?
Before we get there.
Okay. Like, we got something like sensible to give us first before we.
We need to make sure. So like Jean Grey, when like the Phoenix Force is very very strong. I'm sure Reed Richards at one point was like, oh yeah, Dark Phoenix Jean like can rival Galactus, and Galactus is a menace. He's a menace.
Admittedly, it's like borderline impossible to really measure what that means with how much Galactus varied even back then. But
it's like it's hard to, but even like I am at like even just being in that general realm, like you have a lot of crazy
like Galactus has got he's like staled the In-Betweener and he's like fought off.
Right.
He's like shaked the multiverse in a fight.
He collapses like all realities by like showing up or some shit.
Yeah, like it takes like whole squads of super teams to take him down. So like that's a good benchmark for roughly the range in which the Dank Phoenix should be.
Right. And this is just like all the damn, this image won't paste. Like this is just one of Galactus' little things. And you know, there's like fuck you multiversal. You know dimensional tearing as well. Like we
oh yeah, dimensional tearing. I wonder if that's going to be brought up at all for this one.
God, I know that you have certain things, but I fucking hate you right now. You let me hate you.
So,
yeah.
What else does
And
Phoenix have before we low tier god ourselves?
like the I like in terms like I guess there's actually pretty good like she cosmically healed this thing called the Micrac Crystal, the which is like the nexus of all realities,
Of course.
and that is yeah I know. And Xavier, and which is it's a threat to all existence, and Charles Xavier is like, oh yeah, this can like is as the Dark Phoenix is just as much of a threat as this same disruption and shit.
Oh yeah, because
So
of
that's
course
actually-
Charles Xavier would somehow know that.
This dude is just on his like. He's like Quan Chi. He's like Quan Chi. He knows everything. He knows
Professor X versus Quan Chi though. Oh, that's heat.
Quan Chi about to do like. You're gonna see like Quan Chi come from like the backwards water timeline, and he's gonna be like, "Now, Charles Xavier, your soul belongs to me." And then Charles Xavier's like, "Hey, someone hold him still. I'm gonna just fuck up his brain right quick." Fuck you.
Charles just like I've seen this battle coming 10 millennia in advance, and Quan Chi's like, yes, well I knew you would see that, so I prepared these failsafes to deal with your telepathic abilities. And Xavier's like, well, I prepared this failsafe that got rid of yours. And it's just back and forth. That's the whole fight until like Xavier just pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Yeah.
Shoots him.
And and I guess it should be noted that Jean Grey is like supposed to be the absolute perfect version of the Phoenix. She is like the most powerful host. So like every single like crazy dumb feat that another Phoenix Force user has done should scale to her. And some of them include like this. Let me check. There's actually this one like this one dude named Gira or some shit harmed fucking Eternity.
Which
like-
Eternity? Because you know it is. Marvel.
I think it's to my knowledge it's just normal Eternity. I think
like,
based on what I'm reading.
Fuck, what was his name? Like Eighth Cosmos, something like that. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
And like with like the anti-Phoenix, Necron was able to merge infinite realities together,
Yeah.
and he could absorb the energy matrix or some shit.
The anti-Phoenix, of course.
Oh, what is this? Is some Tony Stark comic?
Oh, and then
And like just some other.
okay, Merlin established Otherworld. You know, okay, I'm gonna take a break from. I'm gonna talk about mythology now because I got a few issues with this. No fucking way did Merlin establish Arwen, which is the Welsh Otherworld and the only Otherworld that exists in the matter of Britain where Merlin's from. Ain't no fucking way he did that. He got fucking trapped there. He ain't no shit about Otherworld. Bullshit. He ain't even the king of Otherworld. His student is the queen sometimes, but he didn't make shit. It's just always been there. Rant over. I just wanted to establish that because I don't like it. Anyway, Otherworld. That's strong.
Yeah.
I assume like the Phoenix would scale to Merlin.
Yeah, because like it's like a Phoenix. Like she is the ultimate super Phoenix.
Why does
Force.
he look
Logan
like-
actually used.
Is he bold? Is he the bold one? Is he literally just Charles Xavier again?
Charles, alternate Charles, the evil fucked up Charles.
I mean, to be fair, Merlin,
you know-
Merlin is the Antichrist. He is kind of evil.
Also, and I guess if in case you need something even more, Logan when it used it beat the shit out of Old King Thor because Old King Thor cannot have shit in this house. Dude is an absolute bum.
It's like fucking it's like Fat Thor before Fat Thor. That might as well be what he is.
Even Fat Thor is at least like he tries to get that. He's at least like somehow holding his own against them. Old King Thor is supposed to be peak. Like he is supposed to be like Odin's Thor Force Uggamabuga fuckhead. And then like every time I see him, he's just sitting there lumped around, and like someone else is like, "Damn, you are sad. You are hopeless. What is wrong with you?
Now I think about it.
You're nothing."
What didn't Odin fuck the Phoenix Force or something?
You're so. I feel like why is Odin fucking a bird?
Because like it's revealed that actually Thor was killed as a baby, and then like he was brought back by the Phoenix Force because it's like his like son or something, and like she put a fragment of her power into him, and like that's why he's so strong, is that he's always had like a fragment of the Phoenix Force in him, which explains why when he lost his Thor powers as Donald Blake, he didn't have the Phoenix Force, because Odin can take that away when Odin didn't know it was in there. That makes
Why?
Well, what a good story Avengers BC is. What a good sensible tale.
Is this the original Avengers like that I heard about? Where it's like somehow, like, why is there like these fuckers that are so obliviously more powerful? Why is this version of Iron Fist punching Infinity Stones? Like, what the fuck?
We have an Iron Fist who predates the dragon that made the Iron Fist. We have a Black Panther that predates the meteorite that brought vibranium and thus introduced them to like Bast or whatever. But that's retconned, I guess, now, or maybe I'm just misunderstanding. But like, this is before vibranium as a Black Panther, and I feel like they only exist to have female versions, in which takes away a lot for Iron Fist, especially because they made a big deal of the first female Iron Fist when it happened in the comics, and then we learn actually Iron Fist originally was a woman, so she's not special. She's not that important, actually. She's just kind of whatever. She's just back to the status quo, which, like, why would you do that? And then you got Odin, who's like, I didn't feel like using Gungnir today. I'm gonna use Mjolnir for some reason.
Is this all just made so they can get Odin to fuck a bird?
And, I mean, the Phoenix is, like, the sensiblest one, I guess, to be there. It's like, why is Agamotto there? I thought Agamotto was kind of a guy who just didn't give a shit about anything. He's kind of just a prick, isn't he? And then Ghost Rider's there before the Spirit of Vengeance fell. Why?
You know, okay.
Why?
The last feat I will bring up before we have to address White Phoenix, as I'm gonna call it, is like Jean is stayed to be like stronger than the Death Seed, and they like mentioned the Death Seed, and so it can like consume and eat the multiverse.
Right, yeah, there was the Death Seed got brought up in Atom Apocalypse. They didn't really give a measurement for how strong it is.
They didn't give measurement for any of them. I always think about how like they bring up Wonder Woman is so impressive, and on paper, of course it is. But the last episode Wonder Woman was that she got the same number she did in like a season 4. She just moved the Earth.
In the episode, the only thing they give to measure Black Adam is a life-wiping like barrier that he scaled to. That's it, like multi-continent level. Because like they bring up that yeah, the Quintessence can look over the multiverse, but you know, I can look over the moon. I ain't moon level just because I can fucking look at it, am I? Like, they didn't be like, they can destroy, create, or protect the multiverse from things that could destroy.
They can look.
There's like, they can see.
You know, I can look at a fucking flashlight coming at me. I don't know if I'm faster than light yet.
Yeah, it's weird. Meanwhile, with Apocalypse, they're like, so this guy fights Universe Busters. What is going to win?
So they made him even. Like, he won because he's not a shit brick house stat bot brick.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of insane in hindsight that did fairly well, since I guess right after Black Adam didn't do particularly well. And like, but you know what? The hierarchy did change after all. Just not in the way I think The Rock intended.
Yeah.
He has to go back to Fast and Furious. But you know what? That's base though. I want to see him flip a car over like Dom did in that fucking movie.
I love the Fast and Furious movies. They just keep getting worse every time, but I love them so much.
That's what makes them fun. You have to just get to a point where, like, I remember I was like talking to someone else a couple of days. Like the first movie, like the plot is that they're gonna like rob, like they're stopping people from robbing like let's like DVDs or some shit. You're going to like the 10th movie. This Jason Momoa is like on his Joker shit, and he has like access to all these nuclear weapons or whatever. And now Dom is like, he's just Captain America plus. This guy, I'm pretty sure, can just outright, he can just bite bullets, I'm pretty sure, by the time this trilogy ends. He's just going to be able to bite bullets.
I haven't actually seen Fast X. I'm so excited to when I eventually have time to. But what's funny is I actually thought Fate of the Furious was like a genuinely good conclusion to the series as a whole, and then they just kept going.
They went to space. They went to fucking space.
I love that Dom has a car that can outspeed a goddamn missile. Who designed that car? Like, obviously, it was slower, but like, the fact that it was outracing that missile even for a little bit is, huh?
My favorite part of like I forget which one it was when Hobbs is escaping jail. It's like the rubber bullets. Big mistake. It's like
those hurt.
No, okay, it's not. Yes, they're not like regular, but they still fucking hurt. You're not supposed to just take.
The previous game, he's in the previous film, he's in like an arm cast, and he just flexes out. Picks up a minigun, and then just shoots it handheld. That's not how Gatling guns work. If they're handheld, that means they're really, really small. Not what he was using. He was using a mounted one with his hands.
Right. This has a similar energy to like Jill picking up a fucking railgun, or like in Resident Evil 3, or like there's this like, have you ever heard of Darman? Like that YouTube.
I've heard.
There's like sometimes he gets fucking crazy and has like chloroform. Like people get like hit with chloroform, and he treats it like it's just any regular knockout gas. Like, no, chloroform's pretty fucking lethal. It's not.
If Death Battle have the balls to do Kiryu versus Dom, I will be so mad if there's no line where Dom's just like, think about street fights, the street always wins, and then just stomps the ground and like the whole building collapses. Because that's how that works, especially when he's not on the street. My favorite part of that line is that he's like, the street always wins. You're in a car park, Dom! What do you think a street is?
This dude's a fucking earthbender.
It's fucking great.
You can wrestle Pokemon.
Speaking of like bending, I became like an airbender a couple days ago when I was at a car park and I was returning the trolley and accidentally let go of it, and it went flying like in the general direction of the trolley bay, and I was just like swinging with my hand and it just turned in the perfect direction to slot in with no issue. Like, I'm a fucking airbender apparently. I can just do that. I don't know how that happened.
I feel like
I should fight Dom. I also have bending powers that only work in car parks.
But all I'm saying is I know the world ain't ready for when I actually figure out how to do that fucking firebending shit. It is a written law that black people need to learn lightning, and because Core just makes it so that lightning bending's not actually hard to do, I can just figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a video that was like why so many like black comic book heroes use lightning, and I don't think I watched it, but
neither did I. I've seen it around though.
There's like, you know, there's Black Lightning, there's Storm, there's Static Shock, there's Miles, there's name escapes me. There was another. There's Black Adam, who's very white for an Egyptian, but he is meant to be black. But you know, he is very white for some reason.
I hope Black Adam comes back in Multiverse, and he just looks like Idris Elba or some shit.
That'd be great. I guess I shouldn't comment. Like, I'm a fan of Fate, and one of my favorite characters is Gilgamesh, and he is the whitest Mesopotamian the world's ever known. We're like, why is he so white? The actual reason that he looks the way he does comes off as extremely racist without intending to be that. The reasoning is because his body is meant to be the ideal, perfect image of a human.
Oh no!
Now, I know they didn't mean it that way, but when you put that on a character who is very much whitewashed, that comes off really bad, Nasu. That does not come off well when you know that.
Oh no! Don't let Stormfront hear that shit. She about to come through. Stormfront gonna be like, "Hey, you just need blue eyes, Gil."
The character I was thinking of was Black Vulcan. Black Vulcan is a black comic character with lightning. Let's move on from that Gilgamesh thing, because I love Gilgamesh. Yeah. They was not cooking with that explanation. They weren't cooking shit. They stuck that explanation in the freezer.
That was not good. Frieza. Frieza racism. That's funny. So Phoenix, White Phoenix. That's the strongest form of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it is like the white crown, and that is like.
Oh God, why did we go straight into the strongest is the white? Fucking hell.
Fuck. I mean, honestly. Well, so a lot of this is tied to, from my understanding, the White Hot Room.
Awful.
What
name.
a terrible fucking name, first of all, I have to say.
But yeah, I just said too. That's a terrible name because I told my dad this, right? And the first thing he did after like a second of thinking was just facepalm and go, "Oh God." That's all he said. He said nothing else. He had nothing else to say. Like the joke was too easy to make.
Anytime I have to explain comics at all to like family members, it's like even on the base level, I feel like the ramblings of an anime fan more than I do a comic fan. It's just trying to like convince someone.
It's not any better calling it the White Hot Room, knowing that they almost always draw Jean Grey in this hyper-sexualized way.
Yeah.
Because, she's a female, so she's gotta be. I mean, I guess with Marvel, they also draw their males in a very, sexual way too. Like, Thor, quite often, he's showing off quite a lot of, his beefitude. So.
It's like, the difference will always be, like, you're more likely to find males with different types than, like, you'll find women. It's like, if they're not, like, actual children, high school, or, like, supermodels, you'll rarely find a fucking granny. Like, you're not gonna find, like,
I have no idea if you can still hear me. You just completely cut out. Okay, yeah, you just completely cut out there for a bit.
Oh wow, that is wild.
The Marvel and DC are trying to censor you from bringing up the fact that, with women, it's either leanly muscular, very muscular, or beanpole, and that's it. And like Granny Goodness is just like a massive exception.
Granny Goodness is my G. I love her.
Granny Goodness is so funny because like here's a new god basically who's just a grandma, except she leads this legion of evil dominatrixes.
I respect it. That is like
respect that. That's a power move.
Yeah, that is. Darkseid, you may be literally just the conceptual embodiment of evil, but you know how to make some cool character designs.
I may be evil, but I am not sexist. I'm evil to all sexes and genders. That's me.
I'm the omni-racist, he says.
If there's a race to discriminate, I'm there discriminating it. All of them. Even my own.
I was so... Hey, remember when you... Remember Reaganomics? That was me.
It's like... I just imagine Darkseid going to Earbud. Like, remember all those evil thoughts you ever had? It was me, Earbud. I was the one who made you jerk Barry off.
I was the one who resurrected the corpses in the Flash movie.
Yeah. It's like, you gotta respect Darkseid's evil, but there is a line.
He is not crossing. That's what makes it.
So yeah, White Phoenix, White Hot Room. Do we want to mention like White Raven? Because I've just briefly, because I've heard a lot of people say like that's her strongest form, but also saying that it's just clothes. Like it's just clothes.
So yeah, so like for my White Raven is only a Teen Titans like the show thing. It is like basically just ceremonial robes that she got after like she became after like she was like freed from Brother Blood's brainwashing, I believe. But like it just became her standard outfit for the rest of the run. But it is not like an actual like super form.
Yeah, like she has strong forms. That's not one of them.
Oh wait, shit! I misremembered. It was when Brother Blood did brainwash her. That's actually how she got the white outfit.
Oh, that's worse.
But like, yeah, but it's like, yeah, she wears it again, and like anytime she's usually brainwashed. But there's also times I believe she just has it. It's not anything like. It's not like a power up. She doesn't just go raw fucking white powers go or anything like that.
She's just like.
It was intentional that time.
I just want to point out, I'm looking at this image of the Phoenix. What's that line going down her body all the way past her crotch? That's not a good. Don't draw that. Why? I'm like, I can't show that in the video. Don't draw that. Why? What's happening with that? God damn. Why did Kill choose that image? I mean, I guess because like it is like a very clear
You
image
have
of
to.
White Phoenix, but that. So how strong is White Phoenix? Should I just read this?
So, so she exists in like within the white hot room and can like manipulate it and control it, and like as I've seen many people put it, like the white hot room is like so fucking strong. It's like if you were to ask someone, hey, can this character destroy the white hot room? You'd basically be asking, can they destroy like one of the top 5 most powerful things in all of Marveldom, apparently, which is fucking insanity to me.
Yeah,
but
it's within the mystery and beyond the far shore, which
Right.
are words, but
like yeah, it's like yeah, it is within the mystery. I'll try to like. Thankfully, like Akil really does a good job with sourcing, so I can.
yeah, it's very,
This look-
very helpful.
Yeah, we have like it is beyond the mystery and the far shore. To a lot of you, that is going to sound like, what the fuck is that? Luckily, we have a description. So, the far shore is the farthest point of life and death, so much that transcends Oblivion himself, and beyond it, there is only mystery. And the mystery is apparently so absurdly powerful, just absolutely fucking insane, that the one below all, who's like super Saiyan, dude's like Mephisto, no fuck him, this is Super Saiyan. It makes him shit his pants. And like, now granted, to be very clear, he is not as strong as the one above all. He's just the opposite, the shadow. You know, if the one above all is like Sonic the Hedgehog, he's Shadow the Hedgehog. And like,
I guess like Sonic's actual shadow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but like he's just an aspect of the one above all. But he's still very powerful. The mystery is still very strong because it could be interpreted as the true location of the one above all's heaven from which his love stems.
To everyone except for Peter Parker.
Peter Parker's just a fucking goober. I
will
don't know
say,
why Marvel hates him so
the
much.
scan that brings up this far shore, this farthest point of all, and then farther still into the mystery, sort of implies the far shore reaches into the mystery, which is contradictory and confusing. But that's Marvel for you, so who gives a shit?
Fucking retcons everywhere. And like apparently like the purest form of the one above all's love transcends Oblivion, and this love can be interpreted to be an aspect. And Oblivion is so powerful that his true form can kill the reader. You know how comics love their metafictional bullshit. So this is like, if you like transcends infinity, fuck you, dimensional level, essentially.
Yeah. If this is the scan I'm thinking of, it is a really stupid scan. I know Odin also has like a thing where like, I go into here where you couldn't survive, reader. Let's see. That it dies today. Now don't think badly of me, I can't help but wish for the end of all things. It's in my nature, my very identity, for my name, to some at least, is Oblivion. Before creation was, I was. Where creation ends, I wait. I am the void, the breath between life and death, between death and rebirth, the nothing from which the everything springs. This form you see, this throne I sit upon are illusions, created for your benefit, not mine, for if you looked upon me as I truly am, you would cease to exist, a state of affairs that would please me to no end. I could wipe my ass with this page and he would have no counter to that. Fuck him.
This is...
I mean, I guess I could give myself a paper cut doing that, and like, ow, but that wouldn't be because of him.
Fuck it, I'll just fucking sell that shit. What does he do when he gets sold? He just...
What's he gonna do when,
Someone should...
what's he gonna do when I take like a marker and I just draw a penis on his face? Like, is the text on the page gonna go, hey, stop that, I don't like that very much?
Nice conceptual, like, metafictional. I'm gonna draw porn over you.
Here's a metafictional penis for you. I get what they're going
No,
for.
no.
It's like a Lovecraftian thing. Like, you couldn't comprehend my true form, bruh.
Fuck you.
I feel like DC tends to do this better though. Like that one Mixie Spitlick page is a lot more thought provoking than this. But still, I get it. Yeah.
I think the most interest I have, like the metafictional side, is always like early Gwenpool in terms of Marvel, because it feels like it's actually really playing with the tropes in a cool manner.
Which is funny because
And,
Marvel
like-
doesn't tend to do that nearly as much.
Right. It feels like it just does a good job. It's a really fun story, and it's the only Gwenpool story that exists in my mind.
So yeah.
So,
along with that, it's written here. The mystery is like the conceptual embodiment of the paper on which everything is drawn. Because, yeah, of course it is.
sure.
Why? Yeah.
So-
why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? You know? Yeah. Why not?
So,
There's
a
nothing
lot
else.
of you may be wondering how did. And yes, the White Hot Room, still a shitty name, but whatever. The White Hot Room is like the above everything, and is actually the heart of the Phoenix. So, the Phoenix is, and not only can Jean just when like a Phoenix Force user gets like full access to like the power, when they achieve like absolute pure Unga Bunga Phoenix stuff, they become the White Phoenix of the Crown. And with that power, like the White Phoenix can just straight up rewrite like just basically everything. They can do like they can like remake God in their own image.
Likely referring
And
to
it's
an
like-
aspect of the one above all and all multiverses.
Yeah. So and she can even control and mend the White Hot Room itself. So there's a lot here, to say the least. This is really, really strong.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just read out what's written in like the cosmology scale. Like we start with the superflow, which is like beyond infinite dimensions, and then above that is the neutral zone, and then above that is eighth cosmos multi-eternity, and then above that is oblivion, and then above that is the far shore, and then above that is the mystery. Within the mystery is the White Hot Room, and the White Hot Room is the source of the power of the Phoenix Force. So that is, by my count, like 5 layers above infinite dimensions. So
These fuckers must take cracked. I swear to God, there's no way no one says this, and no one normal writes this and goes, "Yeah, I think this will work."
this is the sort of thing like you write like. I can understand going one beyond infinity if you're like trying to write something creative with the concept of infinity and dimensions. Maybe even going 2 or 3 layers beyond if you want to be a bit spicy. But then you go 5 layers beyond, and you've not even reached the end, because beyond the mystery is still like the House of Ideas, and then beyond that's the one above all.
I have to wonder just someone has to just sit there, okay, what do we add to our multiverse? Okay, so I have to think it's called the massage chair of pixelation, and it's called the massage chair of paper. And what it does is that if you click on it, it massages and creates infinity papers, and these papers are the scripts that fundamentally mess with reality. And you just have to someone has to build upon that and somehow make sure it doesn't contradict that it's above the one above all. And
It was like someone did contradict the one above all being the best with like the fucking astral regulators, and then they had to backpedal later and go, no, that was just an aspect of the one above all. That was just
everyone has a true form.
Everyone has a true form. Even Arceus now in Pokemon has a true form. Why not?
See, Arceus is funny in that game though, because he just kidnaps a kid and he set guys in to do some dirty work. Arceus at least is fun with his shit because he's just a dick, but he's fun.
He's a llama. Like he's a llama with a fence on him. Like that's funny.
There's a Superflow doc too, no less. So y'all, this shit is.
I'm just gonna like post this document in the description if Akira lets me, and I think he will, because this is clearly not meant for just him. because it's got too many
Yeah.
sources. It's a very good document. That's
It is.
Let's also talk about Phoenix abilities as listed here. She can fight in multiple places at once. She literally is life and death incarnate within all places. She can burn you to nothing, which is existence erasure on a conceptual and narrative level. She burned the defenders to the abyss, which is a plane of non-existence where the very idea of you down to the story doesn't exist. She represents the beginning and ultimate end, creation and destruction, the primal spark of creation and the erasure of it all. She can race the universe down to an infinite void that is oblivion, which can even kill Galactus. She can bypass shields that can protect you from telepathy with her telepathy. She's an idea concept, okay, which cannot be killed. She can protect the souls of people. She can melt the soul of Jane Foster Thor. She can survive blasts from like Blue Marvel, and like the Beyonder and Goddess Stories Loki would end up like carrots in a blender if they went up against the true Phoenix, which is a lovely, very stupid way of putting it. She can prune Loki, which is also a stupid way to put it. And she's a threat to functionally omnivolent, which is a word, omniscient and omnitemporal deities. So that's what the Phoenix can do. And if you understood none of that, good.
You might be wondering, like, how? Well, we do not. We got this. She has normal powers too. Do not worry.
She has
has-
like telepathy. She's got like telekinesis. She can like shoot fire and cosmic beams. She can probably
So,
she can probably teleport because she can be in multiple places. I mean, she doesn't need to. She can
she can do it. She's feeling frisky, just a little bit.
probably shoot you with like a gun, I'd imagine. Like she's got hands. I would imagine that a broadsword would be very usable in her hands, like super strength. She doesn't need to be strong enough to swing it. I imagine possibly she would be able to kill a man with a punch. Possibly. Yeah, she's probably got like force fields, I would wager she can do that. She can punch magic so hard it becomes a yin yang in space. Because reasons.
You know, knowing everyone in Marvel, you say punch. She like probably knows like some form of crazy martial art because she like briefly had a session with like Captain America or some shit, and they
Master martial artist, genius beyond words, super strong, fast, and durable.
she,
She can think
everyone
on
is a.
a level above everyone else.
I like talked to someone like way back, like it was like during Wanda versus Satana, I think. Everyone's like talking about like joke like, oh yeah, Satana's trained by Batman or some shit. It's like, why does everyone seem to be trained by like these expert martial artists? Like you people shouldn't need to really worry about hand to hand. You can
I
like
really
spit and like we had to ask, could Satana beat Ryu in just like straight up hand to hand, like no like just martial arts, like. And it's like-
Probably.
It's like, on one hand, probably. On the other hand, that's fucking stupid, so I'm just gonna pretend
Like
that,
how
that she
they
doesn't.
go with like, well, you know, it logically makes sense that like Batman would train all these guys in case they need it. What doesn't make sense is Batman using the technology from the Watchtower and Cyborg to make his equipment so strong that nothing in Gotham could possibly stop him. That doesn't make sense to do. He wants to give those criminals a fighting chance, you know. He's all about that fair combat, you know. Like a Buddhist monk who punches people for no reason, just because they're like in Gotham, and he feels like he's like, I think you probably stole a bag. I'm gonna punch you. Why not?
I can't wait for like whenever we get fucking whoever like the next street level is, and you're gonna have like their experience in fighting skills. Like even though they're not properly trained in martial arts, they can stand up and go toe to toe with Batman, the ultimate super ninja. This Marvel character can also go toe to toe with Captain America, the ultimate super ninja, and even Iron Fist, the super ninja. Except Taskmaster, though, no matter what he does, he's just a
Taskmaster
fucking goober.
sucks. He literally copies like all the skills of Iron Fist and Captain America, and Black Widow's like, yeah, but I'm still gonna like win, and she does.
She turns off her limiters or some shit. She's like, I've been holding back this entire time.
There's a fucking like Giorno theme starts playing out of nowhere.
You just hear like her MVCI theme plays because there's no way it's gonna sound cool. Like, the idea of Black Widow just like I hold back. Like, wait, what do you mean?
I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard. Always taking care nothing is something someone.
Like, it was just like, if I wanted you dead, you would be dead already. And she just punches through the shield or some shit. And Taskmaster's like, hey yo, what the fuck?
Taskmaster just
But didn't-
sucks. Like, what a fucking goober.
The coolest he's ever been, I feel like, has been in like the Spider-Man game, because he's basically just like hunting down Spider-Man for shits and giggles. And
He's
he
just
can
a
like,
dickhead. I mean, it's funny because, like, to be honest, that probably should have been Kraven. But
well, you know, they're probably gonna meet in this game, and I want to see that fight specifically because it's PS4 Taskmaster.
I would love to see just like you get attacked by Taskmaster randomly, and then you also get hit by Kraven, and then they both show up, the boss fight you, and instead you can just choose to watch them fight or leave. And like they just start hashing it. It's like, hey, he's mine.
One of the coolest ideas I think I've heard is like, if because Spider-Man can't sense Venom, if like just at random points you could just get sicked on by Venom.
That'd be
He just like just
cool.
comes out of fucking no. He just tackles you and just starts calling Parker a loser because. Well, I mean, this version isn't, but you know.
How insane would it be if, like, midway through the game, there's randomly a super low chance that Carnage could do it, and they just don't announce it prior to the game release? It's barely foreshadowed. Like, there's just a bit of Venom that he gets cut and at one point and bleeds a bit, and that's the most it foreshadows it. And then out of nowhere, players are just shocked when Carnage just shows up and blindsides them. That would be insane. No one would see it coming. Except me, apparently.
I would like. It should go like some like April Fool's shit. It's just like, oh yeah, we saw Carnage, and it's a 1% chance, and someone just makes a complete Carnage model just to fuck with people.
Oh my god, what if, like, as an April Fool's, they just swap out Venom's model with Carnage? Like, this is an update that swaps his model for Carnage, and then they get rid of it the next day. That'd be just
That would be
wild.
perfect.
That'd be awesome. Or like, or they just like make models for like multiple random symbiotes, and it can just be like Lasher or Anti Venom for some reason, or like fucking Scream or Scorn. And it's like really
Riot.
Riot.
Right. He returned.
The iconic Riot.
My boy,
Everyone
the
loves him.
man.
He's the man.
Gonna be in Marvel for it, I swear.
He's the almighty himbo symbiote.
The leader of them.
He's the
Yeah.
leader of the bunch. You know him well.
Venom versus Chunky Kong. Riot versus Chunky Kong. Like Chunky, you just see like Riot's like, you might be great for our Lord Null. What's Null up to anyways at this
He's
point?
dead.
Of all Venom be
I think he's
shit.
dead. I think Null's just dead. They realized this is a stupid idea. Let's just not. And then they just killed him. Null is null and void.
Isn't Eddie just God now? Isn't he just
Yes.
like
Not Venom.
again?
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie, because Venom is like on his son.
Fucking stupid. So yeah, that was
I can't get over.
Phoenix. Phoenix
Yeah,
is strong.
so-
Do we want to keep
You-
talking
you
about
all-
Phoenix or
Let me switch to Raven right quick at the very least, because I know some people have probably just heard all of that and are just like,
this is
damn.
a setup?
Raven should get cooked. And I know Twitter's been like that. And to be fair, if you're just comparing like on-screen feats, I would say Jean is better because anytime they go Phoenix, she just goes fucking ape shit, like just starts wrecking everyone. And like Raven's generally a good person, so she, even when in dark form, not really, but like, you know, you're not gonna, I don't think you'll catch her like devouring solar systems on your average
No.
day.
I mean, like, the thing with Phoenix, at least, is that second to maybe Scarlet Witch, she's like the big, overpowered female character that everyone thinks of when they think of Marvel DC.
True. Sorry, Susan Storm, you got some catching up to do, but
She did
and she's
some
like
with
probably the
Avengers
first
that
big
one time.
change. She's like, she's strong, but they had to go back and fix their sexism.
Yeah.
That is the biggest fix I've seen, but I applaud it in a weird way. But okay, so y'all probably what is Raven's general powers? Well, Raven has a lot of different phases in life, and there's a lot of people who just do general stuff. Of course, there's like Dark Raven, and like the absolute strongest, I'm pretty sure she is, would be like when she specifically has the souls of Azarath plus like Trigon's which has also Trigon's essence merged into it. Though I don't think there's any point where like that will holistically super matter in terms of just like the big scaling, but just like good to point it out. There's also just a lot of like characters that are related to Raven who are like, not as strong as her because Trigon just did not tap nearly as hard with the other ones.
It's like the other ones, he tapped that ass, but with Raven's mom, he like tapped and held it. That's the difference.
Right. It was like a God of War quick time. So like, Trigon. Like, I think everyone is at least. Well, I hopefully agree. Yeah, she should scale the Trigon. That's like, that's fairly obvious. I don't think I have to explain that. So you may ask, how strong is Trigon? And well, that's a pretty interesting question. Mainly because Trigon he doesn't actually appear that much, I recall, across both continuities. It's actually, like, people always think about that time he fought Darkseid in the animated movie. That's actually the first time they've ever fought in anything ever. But, Trigon's, like, the big one I think a lot of people think about is how he's been directly compared to the Spectre. And this is actually, let me grab that image. This is one of the more common ones. Give me 1 second. Damn, the place where I had it at first deleted it. Oh well, but I'll just grab another one. But yeah, the Spectre, and everyone's favorite jobber, but
this is where you have to ask, like, what stage of Spectre, which Spectre.
It's like, oh shit, goddamn, I don't. Oh wait, it was posted in my Discord a while ago. I could just go back and pick up the image there. But yeah, Spectre, even though he gets his ass beat a good bit of times, he's still very strong. And there's the big panels like this. I think the Monitor, he's like, oh, there's some absolute Black Air Force energy over here. It can only be Trigon or the Spectre. And Trigon has done some great stuff. Like, he has matched the Phantom Stranger as well in combat.
He's strong.
One of the Trinity. And there we go.
What the fuck is this supposed to mean? I think something's happening in Louisiana. I'm getting a wave portrait around the 800s.
Oh, wait.
800s? Let me see. Above
and
600, we're dealing with power users in the supernatural category. Above 800, we're dealing with either the demon Trigon or the Spectre.
Both of those are currently beyond this continuum, sir.
Yes, I know. It's spreading, whatever it is, covering the south and heading north. What the fuck is a wave portrait, by the way? I'm so confused.
I know what a wave function is. What's a wave portrait?
Nobody knows.
What's funny is I think that Phantom Stranger and Spectre should solo Trigon through drip alone, because Trigon ain't got shit.
He barely shows up to have anything. He's just
He's just
I'm surprised he doesn't just come out just balls everywhere, flinging this shit around.
Yeah.
And in one of these comments, it was who the fuck was it? Was like the Presence, yeah, Mr. He said, oh yeah, if you and the Spectre fight, you can threaten all creation. And I'm sure you all know about good old DC cosmology, so fuck you, you're not gonna get this dimensional stuff. And as Spectre also is specifically Asmodeus, he freezes over all of hell. And hell is in the spirit of the gods, which is
Spectre has some wild feats. I love looking at Spectre's feat spread. He backhands Dr. Fate through infinite dimensions. Holy shit! He gave that man the hands and then just didn't even react. It was that was casual.
He throws his fist across the universe.
I love that. He throws it so hard that it wraps around the edge of the universe and comes back and hits the guy in the back of the head. It's so you can measure the distance between his eyes in light years at one point, and it's that is a better sense of scale than half of the more cosmic DC and Marvel feats. Just that idea that you need a parsec to measure the distance between his eyes. Where he walks on Earth so hard that somehow he's creating shockwaves in hell which are in a higher spatial dimension, infinite distances away from where Earth even is. But he did that anyway, through just sheer big dick energy.
And Trigon also just does shit like tank stuff from Dr. Fate, Firestorm, and like he just sits there tanks it. For how infrequent he does at least put in the work. He's very strong. And Dr. Fate is also very strong. He was on Death Battle like a bajillion seasons ago.
Yeah.
And sure, it may not have been like as like the feats may not have been up to, but you know, it was like seasons ago. People change.
I mean, they put him at Infinite Multiverse. They put him at Multi Plus, so.
Oh. Shit, I forgot. I forgot about that black box. Actually,
it's literally just like he fought the Lord, like as True Fate, he fought the Lords of like Chaos and Order, who were reshaping the Infinite Multiverse. He was the first multi-plus character they had on Death Battle. They were not fucking around with Dr. Fate. They were with Doctor Strange out here popping supernovas. Meanwhile, his enemy is transitioning to the infinite gender and wiping out everything that's ever existed ever.
I remember like the old blog for that fight way back, and it was like, oh, this is really close, and like it goes into detail like so how close like it is like even before like the G1 blogs, mind, just like the old crusty ass Rooster Teeth blogs, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's like this is really close until Dr. Fate decides to become the Omnigender, and you can just fucking look at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange sees Multiverse of Madness again. He just quits, and like.
By the way, about Multiverse of Madness, I found out that in Pokemon Gen 5, there is a Pokemon trainer that is in like a movie within the game that is just Red Mist.
Remember that?
I didn't know this. I never played Gen 5. I want to.
I remember that.
Like,
Gen 5 is goated.
I was like, wait, no, go back. What do you mean Red Mist is a Pokemon trainer? Do I go do Red Mist versus MCU Scarlet Witch on not Death Battle?
Hey, at that point, he might have, you know, Red Mist might have just asked, I forget which part again it's he might have fought like Hilbert or Hilda, and like they box him with Cynthia. You know, Cynthia's a fucking menace. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Anyways, Dr. Fate can destroy the spirit the gods one by one with the help of the Lords of Order.
Oh, yeah,
that's pretty strong.
Also, fair to point out that when Dr. Fate got like backhanded through all those dimensions, he was fine. Like he just like kept going as not even as Nabu or True Fate, just like as Dr. Fate. He was like, huh, that hurt.
like damn, that shit
really,
was crazy.
You're really gonna do me like that? And he's like, I'm not gonna fuck with that guy again. That's why Spectre vs. Living Tribunal is so lame. Because Spectre is like the most metal motherfucker ever. Eclipso, the guy who looks like Green Goblin, but is like one of the strongest magicians in DC, he just turned Eclipso into a pencil, and like, that's it. Problem solved. Living Tribunal, all of his feats are either catching hands and dying, or standing around and pointing his hand to do something. He ain't going out there boxing shit that could destroy the multiverse with his bare hands. He's a loser. He's a gimp.
The Living Tribunal just exists just to remind you something stronger than him.
Even then, he's like, I don't know if I could destroy the Infinity Gauntlet. It's like, what the fuck do you mean you don't know? You're supposed to look over the multiverse. You know how many Infinity Gauntlets you have to probably deal with on a daily basis, you goober?
I just like the idea he just tells him, I have literally better shit to do than deal with this. That's what I remember. Just like, dude, the multiverse might be... Dude, I have fucking multiverses to watch, like, every day. Fuck off.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that's pretty strong, but is that, you know, a white hot room? Well, let's consider Lucifer.
No!
No! Now, this, I will say there's a giant asterisk with this, because, you know, this Lucifer I do not think is fully established to be, if it's the same one, but in this comic, like...
Lucifer did leave DC, like, way before this, to my knowledge. So...
Probably. But retcons exist, so I never know. It's New 52 Lucifer, from what I understand, yeah. But, and, like, Belial...
Yeah.
Yeah. So, now, Belial, like, basically captures him, like, treats him like a fucking dog. and it's like they talk about as if he can like fucking, become the most powerful being to sit on Hell's throne, and Belial can take over all creation and shit. But,
Wait, is that guy in the cage Lucifer?
Yes, he was bitched out.
My man looks like Living Tribunal, though.
He literally gets turned into a dog.
He literally looks like Living Tribunal. Look at him with like the rag on his head, the way it's like framed, the little lumps on the side of his head that look like they could be the sides of his faces.
He gets like bitched out. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he gets turned into a dog by Belial.
That is so dumb.
That is. I know I'd be fucking embarrassed if this. But I am trying my damnedest. But I guess there might be time to talk about the unkindness just to give an idea of the whole white hot room shit.
Yeah, unkindness. What is the I don't actually know the context of that because I've seen like disagreeing claims on if it's standard or not.
It is. Okay,
it's
so
a stupid name,
I'm like,
not as stupid as White Hot Room, not even close. But it's pretty stupid.
Like, okay, so actually, let me pull up this like web archive image right quick. Like, it's like people always bring up Superman, like the whole Superman Prime shit. It's like, yeah, that's like impressive, I guess, even though Superman Prime doesn't really have that many. But
yeah,
but like the big things that like Raven managed, like she somehow managed to like sort of merge with unkind. Let me look at this shit, cause yeah, out of all of like her stuff, like the unkindness is so fucking weird, but. She it comes the unkindness itself at some point, and it even manages to ensnare the Riders of Apocalypse. And this is, let me get the image. Like, this is like, I'm not fully sure exactly the nature of the standardness with it, but for what it sounds like, it's something that she could theoretically become, but we have to. And like, there's like actual premonitions and stuff about her becoming the unkindness. So it's like, it sounds like it is standard in a way, just maybe not like it comes up a lot, but kind of like White Crown in a way.
I have heard that on Death Battle Cast they said they would only give it to her on a cast, but I've not seen a source for that. So,
well, like these visions are only, they admit there's possibilities, but it could still happen. So I guess it is worth to like keep in mind. And why is the unkindness like what you made is such a big deal? Well, we got to pull out what we call the images, and
man pulls up with a bunch of images of some girl in the really stupid name form. Yeah, that's the image.
Right.
I like
it is Superman, to bring the
Superman Prime and 1 million was still just like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, it is consuming every plate of existence, and beyond like killing Superman Prime, which Superman Prime's honestly not that impressive as he should be for being. It's in the fucking name, but
he ain't as strong as Superboy Prime. Is like if she was bitching out Superboy Prime, that would be wild.
She get like the unkindness, like
yeah.
The big thing I think that's more notable is that it does like destroy the Speed Force wall, New Genesis and Skyland, and it destroys all of creation. Let me grab. That's I think the more notable part in the grand scheme of things. Instead of just killed fucking Superman Prime.
Yeah, like for real, that guy couldn't even remake his wife without her DNA. Like, come on.
This man, like saved the sun. Maybe it should have been a blue. Was it a blue sun actually?
I don't even know. Like he's a fucking loser.
Now there is like one thing that is like, and like it's kind of up. It is Word of God, but given how this thing is literally decimating all of creation, I think it's worth pointing out. Like, oh yeah, like Word of God claims this is stronger than shit like Perpetua and Hecate. and that it ended up absorbing the realms of Dream and Nightmare, which is very insane. Dream,
Yeah. Oh, because holy wait, Dream, like of the Endless.
yeah.
Whoa, hold on. Why we're
That-
talking about bitching out Superman? She's bitching Dream of the Endless.
That is like if this is admittedly word of God, but again, it does just consider it is fair to consider just because it's the whole super ultra destroying all of creation.
That is wild.
And that's like I would say the biggest like general crazy feat, and
Yeah.
you know this all ties to like you know crazy infinite dimensional blah 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 blah.
How many layers of
Now-
infinity is that? Because it's like Dream is above the sphere of the gods, which is above the Speed Force, which is above the Bleed, which is like infinite dimensions. Like that's at least 4 layers. So that's not
Well-
equal. But then I'm probably missing
Like-
something in between that gets up
It's
to
like-
5 layers, like the White Hot Room.
Like I'm sure like the comic master, but to my understanding is that while it is absurdly powerful, if it was just absolute maximum, the White Hot Room would be better. But this is where like some certain abilities come in, and I guess this is where like I guess I should probably talk about like some of Raven's more key abilities. But like you know stats like you all can imagine like infinity upon infinity.
I
like-
think stats might just be placed at equal. They might, like, in the Death Battle,
Right.
regardless of what some people would say they should be, I think Death Battle will probably take, the Unkindness was wiping out everything, all of reality, and the White Hot Room is above all reality, so it's also completely capable of destroying all reality the way the Unkindness is, so they're going to be even, because if they didn't consider that 1 feat of Scarlet Witch blocking light from the House of Ideas to make her way above Zatanna, I don't think they're gonna accept stuff that would put the White Hot Room like infinite above the infinity that is the infinite unkindness, you know?
But like, I think the big ability, like I think that is like in talk is Raven's soul cell, and the soul self is basically like that big fucking bird that tends to that she takes her soul from her body and it manifests. It's often a bird, but in some cases it can actually just look like Raven at times, and it's kind of cool. And you probably saw it in that episode that happened like eons ago, but it possesses a lot of some of Raven's abilities, namely her empathetic ones, and because Raven is an empath, and she can operate her soul self like even like interstellar distances, so it can go pretty damn far. Like, but the big things like it can pass through certain stuff. It can like function even when she's unconscious, and it contains a dimension of infinite darkness. There's a cloak that is described. It can be used as a cloak. It can like her body and soul exist separate. There's a lot of shit about it that's just like it could. There's a lot,
Yeah.
but one of the big things I believe that is coming in mind is how how the soul can sort of regenerate to my. Let me actually pull up the notes like I'm fucking Liam right now. But give me 1 second. It's like, because funny enough, only until recently, I feel like, from my understanding, Phoenix has only recently gotten soul manipulation, to my knowledge. Like,
Really?
very recent. Like, I remember this was like a big talking point, because for a while, she did not have that. Like, it's not something, or at least it wasn't something she was experienced in. Like, she could communicate, I think, with spirits, but she never, like, had nearly the same, like, it was not as extensive as Raven, because, like, she has a bunch of, like, it's literally one of her main power. And this was, like, apparently there's a random metal that can, like, mess with souls in Marvel now or some shit. I don't know. Why?
Oh, Marvel.
Yeah, it's not. What was it called, actually? I remember it was being told right when, like, I was, like, this one hold on. I could just type in metal and I see like what the fuck is Mysterium?
Mysterio is a villain from the Spider-Man series with like a fishbowl in his head.
See, I wish it was Mysterio. This is Mysterium.
Mysterium is Mysterio, but when he's like confused, he's like,
Just his fucking head, just completely, just his. He doesn't have a fishbowl anymore. It's just like a fucking
it's just like his
water
head,
bottle.
just
I don't know.
like a gnarly, like gross face. Mysterium tremendum, elemental cosmic heart, white hot room of secret fire, excelso prae omniversalis. That means nothing. Who could stand within this flame? Who could look upon this work? The power touches the eye, and the eye gazes into all, unto the innermost fires of creation. More words that mean nothing, Marvel. Like, this is nonsense. You might as well have gone, cucumber pineapple, heart of the frozen turkey.
Now that's a mutant ability that could become...
Black chair of unknown wisp. Excelsior, true believer. Who could fart in the midst of this flame? Who could see something? The power touches your ear, and your ear can hear things. Unto about, 5 yards away, probably. This whole, like, prediction's, like, 50% just roasting Marvel and DC's nonsense.
To be honest, at a certain point when you like get into so many like, when you see how these Herald stuff goes, like I imagine in a vacuum it's like probably not that bad, mostly, but and when you have to sit there and look, how many times do you guys have like remade your multiverse? Like, shoot, I remember whoever came up with Crisis on Infinite Earths must be just fucking rolling in his grave, or if they're alive still, they're just like. They feel like anytime they hear a Crisis, they just get like a brain tumor. It like just grows because they keep shooting Crisis.
The person who came up with Crisis feels the same as all those people who made like the first versions of common film tropes. They have the same feeling now. They know what it's like.
It's like Alan Moore anytime he sees like Watchmen shit in general.
Aw, shit! Here we go again.
Just there's like gonna be a movie about it. I can't.
Fucking wild.
That's Alan. He just feels like his part of his soul just completely like dissipate. But Raven has a lot of absorption stuff because her soul is a dimensional portal, and essentially treated as a safe space. She can't be really hurt there, and it's treated like essentially maybe a separate reality because that makes sense. She can like take people. She actually at one point can take people to Azarath, and which that's actually pretty cool because Azarath is a very big conduit item to my knowledge. I'll have to check the notes again, but in fact, Raven in general also has a lot of soul fuckery in general because
like
if you couldn't tell, yeah,
messing with the soul and with your emotions. So
yeah, and beyond just there's also, and I looked through this power. Some of these powers are really kind of fun, like. The times there's like time manipulation she has in there. That's funny to me.
Yeah, because that makes sense. I guess.
Yeah.
The thing is, has Phoenix actually got any resistance to emotional manipulation or soul shit?
The soul stuff is the thing that I think a lot of people bring up because I don't think she has nearly as much experience in like soul resistance or just like in general soul stuff. Like, I feel like she's probably like resisted it maybe at one point, but I should check Akil's notes again to be sure. But
he doesn't list resistances on the note page that he gave us.
Well,
I mean, it does say
like,
it does say Phoenix can protect the souls of people, so I'll open that up. Let's have a look-see. There you are, my darling! Back the way you're supposed to be!
that sounds so evil!
I was beginning to think you guys would never show! As you... Both, as always! I don't understand. Then why didn't you protect her? What do you think I've been doing all these years? You're right, my friend. I am Phoenix. Earth is my home. You're my friends. Rachel is my child. but I'm responsible for all creation. Still getting used to that, you know? What you see here is the smallest part of me. I kept Rachel's, my baby's soul safe until you heroes came to her rescue. As always, what happens next is up to you. And then there's just nothing in context later about what she protected the soul from. So she can protect souls. This is
here's
White Phoenix.
Here's a funny thing. So Raven, like when she makes fucks with souls, she falls to this thing called the Nexus of All Dimensions, which contains a universe of lost souls, and she can like control the souls to her and shit, which is like pretty fucking insane. And like she stabbed the souls of the Titans with her soul self, and that apparently ended up grounding them through time.
So this is where I gotta wonder, because Death Battle don't tend to use like layered hacks very often for reasonable reason. Whether or not they think this claim that she protected someone's soul for years is enough to match up to the scope and scale of what Raven has accomplished with her soul powers.
Yeah, because like when I'm reading, like just what I've been like looking at right now, she can do stuff like control, like she can like connect with Titans throughout time and grabbing their souls. So like it's not just she can go through like the universe, like she can like manipulate a whole universe of souls. She can also just like control them across different areas and shit. And there's also like, and she's even able to like do so like destroy Trigon's soul, and like I don't think even Azarath, which is like a fucking super soul house, like they could even do that shit. Like so, needless to say that she's got a like when she comes to soul fuckery, thankfully it's actually makes sense that she's really strong at this regard.
I guess there's
you know,
there's also the question of like what counts as killing Phoenix for this fight. Like, does she have to wipe out the White Heart Room and destroy the entirety of the Phoenix Force, or just kill Jean Grey the host, and then the Phoenix Force will fuck off?
That's what I feel like. From what I understand, I think she just needs to kill. Like Jean is a big talking point I've seen from friends and other people is just like if Raven were to theoretically if Jean like just gets in the White Heart Room, that could be trouble because that is a super ultra mega powerful place, and like even as we've established, like Raven probably wouldn't be able to outmuscle Jean if she's in that room. But if they're outside,
would Raven even be able to get there is the question.
I don't know. Maybe Jean might just fucking yank her there. That's the big thing. Like, can she get out? I think it's a better question.
On a scale you can't even comprehend.
I've seen like a theoretical ending that's like so like if she turns the White Heart Room black, and just like
the Black Heart Room.
That has a similar energy to if Broly destroyed the Below Plane. I almost wish that happened. Now I think, like, I still kind of wish that happened because it'd be so hilarious. Like, you just see Hulk's like, "This is for my domain." It's like so, like Dr. Fate shit, and Broly just goes raw and just kills the one below all.
Imagine if Quicksilver beat Flash is like, "This is the Speed Force, my Speed Force, and here I am king." And then Quicksilver just like punches it, and it just like breaks.
It's just like Saitama punching back. Like the Boros' blast.
I mean, I
you know,
I could see them doing that, like with the White Heart Room. Like but I feel like if they're gonna use White Heart Room, that means Phoenix is probably won. If they take the fight there.
It's like
But then, like, could Phoenix reach Raven's like soul place?
It's like. I think the question is, can she even mess with Raven's soul? Because that's like, as long as that's there, she still like has a fighting chance. And
I feel like a lot of the arguments for Phoenix will just be that she can use soul manipulation and her raw power is super high, so she could manipulate Raven's soul, and ignoring the fact that even though she's stronger and she also has soul hacks, that doesn't mean she has stronger soul hacks.
It's like if I were to like concoct two scenarios, the two timelines here. Like, Schrodinger's cat will come soon. If Raven were to win, it'd be like, you know, she can get out of the White Heart Room if she needs to, and even if she was in it, she can still persist very well as a soul and manipulate souls better than Jean has shown. So all she needs to do is get out the room, and Jean has to follow her, and Raven can just find a way and like Jean's supposed to be like, "Fuck, I can't control this shit as good," and Raven's like, "Yeah, you see, I do this shit for a living. Fuck off," and then Jean like will die. And if Jean wins, it's basically what you said. Like, oh, she just takes her to the room and she can at least affect souls, so that even if it's not nearly as good, it's like she just obliterates her into nothingness or whatever. Just fucking raw. I am Phoenix.
I guess
That's like
you could argue that because the Phoenix like represents all creation and destruction, that includes the creation and destruction of souls. You could argue that.
it's
I guess.
it's like it's just like the big thing is like I feel like Jean's like lack of experience in this field, like soul stuff, is like what's kind of not make me fully go, yeah, she would, because like if she can't like controlling nearly as well, Raven has like she as long as that thing is there, she can just keep fighting.
And I guess
Because like the soul self. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You were talking.
It's like the soul self is like completely different, and like it can still do various things on it in its own right because of like it has all the empath powers, and then, yeah, I still want to know if Jean has like resistance anything like that. I would think she has, because she's been around Charles Xavier enough that he's probably done some absolutely heinous shit on Krakoa or whatever at the bare minimum.
I guess my other question is like, who has more control between Raven as as the unkindness or Phoenix of the White Crown? Like, who's got the better control between them?
I feel like White Crown, just because that's like absolute peak, and unkindness from what I've been reading is like it's a lot more like it's a lot more out there. Like it's something that she could reach, but nothing completely like absolutely concrete. But a big, and it's a good thing that Raven at least also has like healing. That's also a good thing. Just in case.
If the Phoenix has the power over all creation, she can probably just create the matter that she lost when she got damaged.
It's like I'm reading like the healing. I'm trying to see. I don't think there's anything like exact like off the top of my head. Like, if she's like blown into a bajillion pieces, she just like picks herself back up. Like, yep, there you go. No, nothing happened. Fuck you. But she does like removing a lot of poisons and pain, and like she can like direct emotions and stuff because she absorbs like Wally's pain when he's like opens the Speed Force.
I just imagine fucking Wally from Pokemon.
Wally just go like, oh shit, Gardevoir, wait.
Wally, I will absorb your pain from this Brendan arsehole, I think that's his name, just constantly destroying your dreams.
Like there's also like Raven can like absorb power. She like absorbs power, which she can use to empower herself and heal. Like she does the Supergirl at one point. Why is what's with Raven is Supergirl? I was like, what is that?
What the hell?
And like,
damn, she's busting
and
out
like
some moves though.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Raven's face there is like that one meme of the guy like pointing behind him.
Yeah, and like a big things like Trigon, like because Raven like can basically do more than anything Trigon can do. Like he at one point he like feeds on the evil heart of darkness, which comprises like the evil of universes and galaxies and shit.
Of course.
Yeah, when Trigon actually, at least when Trigon like does it's actually like cool. And nobody when Trigon's like sons betray him, they like steal so much of his fucking power that like I think he just becomes just absolutely piss weak, and he won't be able to open up. Like he can't even open portals for centuries. It's like when like Rachel got fucking nerfed in BlazBlue, and she just can't teleport for Central Fiction, or she barely can do it.
I mean, everyone kind of got nerfed in that game, with the exception of Ragnar, because that's the game where Ragnar gets to win a few fights. I
asked this question. Like, I don't know. I feel like Ragnar like loses the most out of your every fighting game protagonist. Like in general, which is so mean.
Like, Ragnar is an absolute loser. Like, you compare him, like Ryu has lost a few fights, not too many though. Liu Kang has lost maybe like outside of Revenant Liu Kang, maybe like 2 fights across the franchise history, Siegfried, half the time when he loses, it's because he's Nightmare and he's fighting himself at the same time.
Yeah.
Jin, I don't think makes a habit of jobbing that often.
Jin's losses, I can he loses. Funny enough, the Tekken 8 bio came out recently for Harang, his rival, and Harang beats the shit out of Devil Jin apparently, which is madness. Harang is actually way more powerful. He's beaten Jin twice at this point. Okay. He was supposed to win Tekken 5, but Jin, he became Devil Jin at that exact moment and just, curb stomped it. But Jin doesn't lose fairly. He tends to win more often than not. Yeah. It's Kazi, I think, actually loses more than he does.
And I don't know enough about Killer Instinct to really make a comment on that one. So
Jago, he exists, I guess. I don't know.
And Soul, Soul does not make a habit of losing. He doesn't even make a habit of using his full power. So
when he lost his power and the thing that they needed to kill God, Soul just told everyone, "Okay, I have an alternative. What if we just shoot her with an infinity Glock?" It literally says it outputs infinite power.
It's so funny between with Ragnar versus Soul is on one hand you've got this Giga Chad who deals with all of his problems while barely trying through the logic of what if I just hit it really fucking hard, and this other guy is I won a few fights when everyone was nerfed.
I always I actually remember you watch he fights Hakumen in Central Fiction. Hakumen's you haven't gotten stronger. I'm just weak. Dude, come on.
Really goes that. It just reminds me when the anime adapted his fight with Hakumen, and it's just several minutes of Ragnar getting fucking railed. Just stands no chance.
It's dude. I get a Hakumen. I know Hakumen. He's really strong, but Ragnar loses to people he reasonably should. That's the thing. That's what makes it.
Ragnar's the kind of guy to get into a drunken brawl with Taukaka and lose somehow.
Is that not how he has to pay for her food? I actually forget.
I don't necessarily remember, but he has that energy. He's got Dan Hibiki energy, but if Dan thought he was a Kuma. that's Ragnar.
I like joking. I like joke. It's if Sean ever became the protagonist, I wonder if he'd get more wins than Ragnar. It's fucked. He at least canonically has won one tournament now. Sean has gotten one singular dub at least.
Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure fucking Rock Howard probably has a better win streak than Ragnar, and he's canon in one game.
He in that one game he does beat Terry and Grant and Kane Fuckerface or whatever. Yeah, and his game's getting this people too, so
he's got one canon game and he's just outdone Ragnar. Oh, and Terry obviously has a better win streak as well.
Yeah. Fuck, I guess maybe there's Hyde, maybe? Because his game doesn't feel his game is basically everything is not really canon yet, because we don't know when the fuck the sequel will happen, so we don't know what Hyde has won.
I mean, there is I think there is a story mode in the latest version. It's not, it's a prequel to what the events, and it tells how things came to be. Hyde definitely has a better win ratio than Ragnar, simply by the fact that if he gets into a fight with any in-birth, he could kill them with one touch. If he hits them right. And, that basically means that any canon fight he ends up having, even if he loses, he's gonna just lose because he's a kid. As opposed to Ragnar losing, who is an adult with a giant sword, who got the ultimate...
He's called the Grim Reaper! They call him the Grim fucking Reaper. He's a wanted criminal.
Actually, I think Hyde beats up Nanase at one point. I think he does beat her, and I'm pretty sure he beats Carmine as well. I almost certainly, when the sequel that comes out in 3149, he's gonna reveal to have beaten Hilda and be the one to have done that.
No, it's gonna be fucking Yuzu just kind of with the top of the tightrope.
like I would say Hyde probably has a better ratio going on than Ragnar too. Like,
God, like I guess I have the only people I can see that is worse is like I have to ask Virtual Fighter fans just how the track record. I have to ask them because I definitely know.
I wonder if Karate Man or for Kung Fu Man from Mugen has a better win-loss ratio in the canon of that.
I have to seriously look, and it's like, man, that's like the only one I don't know how they turn out. Because Dead or Alive,
I like Ragnar.
Like, I have nothing against him. I just don't. Why does? Well, I guess Mori's not at Arxis anymore, but why did he hate him so much? He just.
Yeah. With
Everyone
Alive,
beats
I'm pretty
him.
sure Kasumi does have some wins.
She has some wins, yeah. She like beats up her clone
And
and
of course,
stuff, and like
the other character that some have called the protagonist of Dead or Alive is Ryu Hayabusa. He's got maybe a couple games that's all about him just winning.
Yes, that hurts.
He has like Seto Kaiba energy sometimes, where like he feels like that guy who shows up and like he's just gonna win, and if he loses, it's not gonna count because he says so.
I want to just cheat and say, oh well, you know what? Technically, Ash never fought any Ash Crimson. He technically never fought any of the other characters. He just stole their powers. Now, granted, that's like that's still pretty busted, but he didn't he hasn't won any of the tournaments. He just went around, found all the sacred treasures. He's like, oh hi Chizuru, your power is mine. Hi Iori, your power is mine.
Oh my god.
Hi ancestor.
Ragnar's got a worse win-loss than Patroclus Alexander.
Fuck Patroclus.
Fuck Patroclus though.
Fucking loser.
Fucking
Patroclus, you know, and I remember I forgot who it was, I think Mal just fucking hates Jin so much. I joke yo, you gotta put Jin and Patroclus in a fight to see which casuals would root for one, who would be left. It's and I hate man, I don't. That might be the one time you find me rooting for Jin, which says a lot.
I feel like Patroclus wins.
He probably wins, and that's the worst part.
With the full power, it's all Soul Calibur wielders should be on a similar level when at their peak.
Right. Why the fuck did this fucking dumb Sacred just give this dumb brat so? I hate how you only know about his style because in the fucking art book that's not readily available to most. You only learn that Setsuka trained him at some point in between games.
That's exactly why he doesn't use any of her techniques until he gets that sword that has nothing to do with her.
And damn, Sophidia, damn, your kids are just mad elves. I don't know what happened there.
I'm gonna be honest, Rothion, I like him more because Soul Calibur 6 kind of saved him, but I really want to just repeatedly do Sophitia's grab on him to make sure that he cannot procreate.
Raphael?
Yeah. Just repeated Widowmakers until he's just impotent and just save the timeline.
I just can't get over SC6. It's they treat SC5 like it's the bad future. They just treat it no, even though that's the game where they actually kill off both swords, which in hindsight was probably for the best, just so the reboot could actually work. But this is the bad timeline.
The thing is, did they kill the swords? Because Soul Edge maintains the astral chaos, but it clearly still exists, and Cassandra from the previous timeline even travels through it into the new one. So it's possible that they didn't even destroy the swords properly. Because there are two Soul Edges, remember? There's the Soul Edge in the physical plane, and there's the Soul Edge that Night Terror wields within the astral chaos. Because it's firmly established in the art book that Algol is wary of Night Terror, who has his own Soul Edge. So they possibly only destroyed the physical swords in the material plane, but not the ones within the astral chaos that is the actual swords at their source of their power. Which sounds like a Marvel DC thing, but it makes sense in this context. It's not stupid. Okay, it's a little bit
fighting it. fighting game lore is always funny to describe if you just say it like without any context. Like,
Yeah, that's why I love so much. Like, I don't love, but I find so funny the explanation for like Dragon Slayer being able to destroy Soul Edge in Death Battle is it can hit it on the astral plane. So instead of just hitting the material sword, it gets to hit the material sword and the stronger astral sword at the same time, and somehow that makes it easier. That makes it easier somehow. Just like, punching the wall, that's hard. But if you were to punch the wall and also there were spikes on the wall, that would make it easier.
he does it every single day.
He does this every day, boy!
Every day.
To be honest, Guts could beat Raven and Phoenix. Like, they may be infinitely stronger than him, but, like, he beats demon-powered people and demons, like, every day. So, like, even ones that are way stronger than him, so, like, they're just fucked. Like,
maybe that's why they want to do. Maybe that's why people want Guts versus Doomslayer, because they just do it every single day. Like, so of course,
Guts is not just going to be hitting Jean Grey. He's going to be hitting Jean Grey and the White Hot Room at the same time, and that's going to make it easier to kill her.
I just imagine like Raven like uses the Soul Self, and like she's like going inside, and like you just see Guts just does ice fucking ether or some shit, and Raven's soul just like she's like, "Hey yo, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on?"
It's just like in the background. If that happens, I'm gonna see in like my How It Should Have Been parody if I can just edit in Guts like swinging at nothing, and just like have that in the background if the White Hot Room shows up, and just like not address it. There's Guts. He's doing this just every day, having a go. God bless.
Guts should just fucking. He would just shatter Kingdom Hearts by just hitting it really hard from nothing.
He does this every day. It's like, do you think Guts could eat the universe? I do. I mean, he eats food every day.
Finally, a worthy opponent for Kirby.
Finally, a worthy opponent. They eat off will be legendary.
Guts he has to use Siegfried's voice line.
He still uses Siegfried's voice line, yeah. You know what's really funny? I think it was either Soul Blade, Soul Edge, or Soul Edge, Soul Calibur, Soul Calibur 2 is the only game where the announcer pronounces his name in German, like Siegfried. Every other time it's Siegfried. Why is that? Only one game they're like, Siegfried Stauffen. The rest is like Siegfried Stauffen.
I always love how that game, like, I also you look at the old profile, Siegfried's supposed to be like a fucking manlet in like the older games for some. It is so weird.
He just keeps getting taller.
It's
by Soul Calibur 8, he's gonna be like 9'7" and like have a sword that's like 20 feet long.
Oh wait, we restarted from Soul Calibur 1. Like we gotta go back to the. He got to get back to his. He has to get more meat on his bones somehow. My man has gear cells at this point, but with that growth rate.
Siegfried's like terrifying. Like the fact that he keeps getting long. Like I know everyone thinks like Astaroth, just like got so much taller with his clone in Soul Calibur 5. Though I kind of just think of his ending in Soul Calibur 4, where he's a goddamn kaiju. Like that's a big rock.
And so Heihachi was somehow watching.
So anyway, Raven Phoenix. I think it's actually a bit difficult to like properly predict who will win because there's a lot of factors. I think we can reasonably assume they will likely put them on a similar level of strength and speed and make this about abilities. The issue then comes in with who are they going to say has better control when at their absolute max? Who are they are they going to buy them having resistances to each other's main power, especially on Phoenix's case, because the difference is that Phoenix starts mostly with fire attacks and stuff, while Raven just always starts with her soul shit, really. Like, she hits you with her soul. So it's more important Phoenix has that resistance. And also, what qualifies as a Raven win here? Because for Phoenix, she just gotta kill Raven. Like, that's simple. But if Raven just kills Jean Grey, will they count that as a win? Because they didn't name this Raven versus Jean Grey.
Right. I'm like thinking like the Phoenix. I have to like check. Like the Phoenix like has some really good regeneration stuff. I know like it like talks about it can like bring back Jean from scraps. I'm just like trying to curious if the White Hot Room if Jean were to die outside of the room, like if Raven were to find a way to kill her outside the room, like, would Jean have to like, would the White House just recreate her there and just pluck her in and just throw her back out there?
Yeah, that's a
Or-
like a good question. Like, I feel like not, but Jean Grey's died before, right? And like she didn't just immediately come back, and like
It's like
Hmm.
I think her resurrection's like she can like from what I understand. I feel like I've been saying this a lot just because this is Marvel and fucking DC cosmic shit, but Jean like there are times where like she can like heal. If I were to get, I don't know if she can just like if Raven were to somehow just atom bomb her magically by some miracle, like the unkindness just goes full mask off. If that like if she was just reduced to nothing with that, she'd be able to come back from that. Like she can kind of, but how long would it take? And that's sort of like
that's a good question. How long? Because like we know that Broly has no way to really kill Hulk, but he can kill him for long enough that it counts as a win, by Death Battle's logic. So, like, could like how long does it take?
it's like I'm like looking because I swear I remember seeing like a lot more detailed stuff on how long it takes, but that may could be around right now.
I'm just gonna go on Wikipedia and look up the word "dies" to see if like second death. Hold on, where was the first death? Onslaught, return to X-Men and marriage to Cyclops. Revive. Okay. During the Dark Phoenix saga, Phoenix becomes overwhelmed and corrupted by the first state's evil. Transforms into Jean personality manages to take control and commits self-cadaveration to ensure the universe's safety.
Self what?
I can't say the S word for monetization.
Never mind.
Self-cadaveration is one of my ways of saying it.
Okay, I was like, wait, what?
It doesn't say how long it took, but like it's like Jean after her first death, she came back with no memories. So clearly that one is not really viable. Second death, Phoenix Jean fully realizes and assumes complete control of the powers of the Phoenix Force, but is killed in a last-ditch lethal attack by Zorn. Okay. Jean dies, telling Scott to live. After a funeral, Scott rejects Emma and her offer to run the school together. This creates a dystopian future where all life and natural evolution is under assault by the infectious Sublime. Jean is resurrected in this future timeline. Okay, this is the alternate timeline where White Crown shows up.
Right.
It doesn't say
how long it takes. I know, like, anytime the Phoenix Force dies, it, like, lays an egg in the, like, White Hot room. Like the Phoenix Force itself, which is how I was able to come back, even after Scarlet Witch in hopes that, fuck you. But
oh, yeah, she's dead for good in Days of Future Past.
Here it is. This is actually a really good, like, image, I guess, like, when it talks about, like, the Phoenix Force. Like, oh, yeah, like, I thought I was dead in a billion pieces scattered across 3 galaxies, waiting to come together in the White Hot room, born anew, blah, blah, blah.
Wait a minute. I just looked up resurrection on the page, and apparently Jean's resurrection resulted in Cyclops abandoning his wife and child? What?
Cyclops? What a dick!
What a cocksucker! Sucks cock.
Whoa. That's so... I feel like every time I hear about Cyclops, he sounds like fucking Adam Taurus.
Okay,
It just sounds like...
Okay. In some depictions, these resurrections are immediately after she or whoever she is reviving is killed, while other depictions indicate that a resurrection must occur at a correct time, sometimes taking a century. During the height of the Psych Wars, young Jean was able to forcibly make the Phoenix Force restore her to life, despite the Phoenix's resolve not to do so, completely recreating her body after it had been vaporized.
So it's like, what, the Phoenix Force just decides if they need to fuck around?
The Phoenix Force can say no.
Just like, you know what? I don't think you need to come back. I think you've...
In their most recent meeting, Jean tells the Phoenix Force that she should have died on the shuttle and asks it not to resurrect her again. Oh, also,
so it seems like
Jean Grey is a trained pilot and proficient unarmed combatant. She also has a degree of teaching training, experience as a fashion model, and training in psychology. So she's a proficient martial artist.
Everyone's an martial artist.
Like, we literally joked about this, but like that's just true. So it seems like the Phoenix can resurrect her instantly, but it's inconsistent. Sometimes it can take centuries.
And it was like still have like the whole problem of how does she like actually like the soul that
Yeah, it's
like
Moses says vaporized, but doesn't say like the soul is completely obliterated, which Raven could theoretically do to Jean at least.
like I imagine Jean has some. So she like soul resistance like a big like she can like protect
a soul,
but like
is the scope of which I don't know. Like if she just protected the
Raven,
soul from like someone who can pop a soul with his mind, that's not as impressive as Raven's like sheer scope of her soul powers. It's on a whole other level to that. And
it's like
toughy.
That seems like to be like the most like the most general idea I've seen. Like it's either White Hot Room and go Burr, or the Raven uses her souls. If I were to like pick, I feel like the soul just feels like a more comfortable win con because it's a lot more like that's her main power. And I've not seen a lot of sources that exactly show how good Jean is when dealing with souls. Like it's only recently she's apparently like just been like dealing with souls, which still seems extremely off to me for this cosmic space chicken to only recently mess with fucking souls.
Yeah. It does feel more like a death battle conclusion to say that their powers are even, speed is likely even if Raven couldn't kill the Phoenix Force entirely itself, as she could, with her main attack, just obliterate Jean Grey, and to say that Jean would just come back would be assumed that more than 50% of the time we would follow the interpretations where it's instant. Jean would go back on when she said that she doesn't want to be resurrected again, and the Phoenix would be allowing her to do so. And all that has to line up more than 50% of the time for Jean to come back immediately and continue the fight.
Oh god, it really does. This is just resurrection. It really does come out of resurrection. I know someone who would. I think ever since like it was like when they did those blogs on like Ness, Frisk, and Ann Lewis, like that was just a constant stream of fights that had some form of resurrection. And then we get like the actual season. Ant-Man Adam. Oh, like Adam can like shift his mask to like the microverse or whatever.
Yeah, Ant-Man Adam.
And then Dragonborn is just like, Chosen Undead, like if he just is too fucking weak. He's just got to give up. He can't. He has to cope.
It's not the same, but people brought up like post-death Nen for Killua. And then people brought up Izanagi for Obito. And Force Ghost.
It's like I don't think that Vader's just gonna sit there like, damn, you know what?
And then this one
is he? This is like even more because this is a literal Phoenix.
This is the most, like aside from Chosen Born, this is the most resurrection thingy. But then that will also presumably like they're on the side that Raven could kill Jean, because like it's so difficult to make an accurate prediction because there's so many factors that we have no basis to understand what they're gonna go with. Because with Phoenix, all we have prior is they think it's strong, they call it a planet buster, and with Raven, there's this old episode that barely covers most of her powers, puts her at like vaguely moon level or city level, what a range, and like Mach 36. So
holy,
we do not have a lot to stand on.
It's like it's hard to make these, and it doesn't help that their nature, their powers is going to go into all this like. Cause like with Scarlet Witch Zatanna, it's like okay, they're both like they both can like fuck around the Omniverse. Okay, that's easy. Like you can focus on like abilities or whatever. Then and like here it's like well, the White Hot Room seems like definitively stronger. How can Raven like be like? Well, what will Raven do if she's there? Like can they still like just sit there? Will they just be able to not do anything to her soul? Which would be so funny. They just sit there and try to do everything. They can't do anything to her soul. They're in this super room. And just like. What the fuck? You can't do shit to this one soul.
It's gonna be like just so weird. Yeah, I think Scarlet Tana is our best frame of reference of where they'll go with. To which you can argue that Phoenix will win because the unkindness has less control than White Crown, which is kind of one of the big things that made Zatanna beat Scarlet Witch was having better control. But the difference is here that their powers aren't, they can both do yes. They both have, like, limitations to what they actually have shown to do. Because technically, saying that Phoenix is like, I can create and destroy everything means she can create and destroy souls is something of a no limits fallacy. To assume that when she says she can do all that, she can do things that we have no other evidence to suggest she can.
It's like, it doesn't help. It's and blah words, but it doesn't help that like with how like the control thing as well. It's like they both eventually like regain control, and so like they both like their story arcs are basically they go crazy, but they're able to like reel it back in some capacity.
Oh, I guess
so it's like
another point that could be moved into Raven's favor. Raven's lived with this power all her life, basically. Like, she grew up and learned to use her powers, which while they grew and evolved, they were always still with her. Jean has had the Phoenix Force, like, what, 3 times? And while the Phoenix has always been the Phoenix, Jean Grey has not always been the Phoenix. There have been a lot of hosts. I mean, while she may be the strongest and most well-tuned, that does not mean that her experience with it is the combined experience of every Phoenix Force user in the Omniverse.
I still love that one. I still like loving to find that one panel where it's like she's like there's like a baby universe. That's like, oh, that's an alternate Jean, and I was like, wait, what? That's not that's so cool. But like, why does Jean not get to, well, it is Jean, but also what's with the text? Like, why is it just a bunch of fucking sludge?
Oh no.
A badly wounded orphan universe. They can be like.
What
orphan? Wait, what is an orphan universe? That's not. What's an orphan universe supposed to mean? Like, did the Living Tribunal just say, you know what? Nah, fuck you. I don't.
Like, if the guy who built a chair trips and breaks his neck, do we call that an orphan chair now?
An orphan universe. There's so much about that just implications. Like, who's the parents? Like, where are the parents?
I'm also curious, like, for the fight, what they're going to do in terms of scale, because most of the
there's absolutely...
What I see with Phoenix Force most of the time is not her flying around, blowing up universes like them, like, fucking bubbles on bubble wrap. Half the time, she's just sort of encircling a planet.
It's like, I think the scale is, like, gonna start off, like, pretty normal, and then when it gets dark, they'll go, like, crazy, because they both, like, at the very, like, they do cosmic shit. It's like, it's not going to be like Apocalypse of all people fucking moon busting. That is they'll take it to space. Which, actually, fun fact, I don't think Raven like can traditionally just breathe in space normally. Funny enough, when I understand.
Huh, that's interesting. But then, like, magic and stuff, and like, does she need to breathe? Like she's half demon.
She doesn't. It's like. From what I understand, her soul self can't survive in vacuum space for so long. But yeah, fucking Storm can breathe in the vacuum space, but not Trigon Spawn. But
that's ridiculous. I had like a shot in one of my animations where like all of space zooms out to reveal it's just like an eyeball. I could see them doing something like that, like where it just suddenly jumps in scale, and turns out that whole background of stars the whole time. That was the Phoenix Force just watching the fight from afar.
That'd be really cool.
Sending an avatar against Raven for like the first half. And then when Raven finds this out, she just does not flinch. She just is like, okay, fine. And then just goes after it anyway.
Like, just gets pissed. Like, they do say, like, Raven can, like, there's, like some statements. Like, I know, like, there's, oh, we made us go to, like, destroy news. But if you just want scale, it's like, oh, well, at the very, they could still be in line, like, crazy planetary scale, because like Jean, oh yeah, Raven can like blot out the stars, and like you can have like maybe the soul self like get to a point where like I can believe that the soul self can like fucking go around planet busting and moving at crazy speeds before I can.
I would love to see like a yin yang shot in this episode, like, you know, like that one panel with the Phoenix Force and like Scarlet Witch's magic, like just doing that but with the soul self. That would be sick.
I love a reference to like that actual like that one crossover comic I think where it's like, you know what, you and I are not so different basically. I don't know how they'd get in there, but it'd be a really perfect reference.
Yeah, I think like obviously the ending has to be the loser like losing control and the winner just having full control and just like dominating because of that. Like that's they have to end it like that, right? Like either
It's like
yeah.
I know like it was worded like it's like neither gonna be portrayed as the villain in this fight. So I imagine however like it ends, it's like it's gonna be like someone it'll probably have some sort of tranquility, and then like the other one's just like it could be fucked up. Like you know what, I want you to kill me. I'm about to lose my shit.
Can you help me just die? Yeah, probably.
Oh shit! I just thought G might actually just die once in the animation, and then Phoenix Force is like, no, you're not allowed to do that.
It just starts. It's just like the first like minute, and Raven just like fucking punches straight through Jean's face, and then like Jean just comes back. It'd be funny if like she kept the hole in her face for a second before it regenerated from like Phoenix magic. There's like just like scrambling all over her head, like whoa.
Like you just see like a planet just like completely explode. You just see her charred corpse there, and you just see the Phoenix Force looking down and starts talking shit. It's like, oh, you think you something? I am the Phoenix Force. I am the one, the ultimate. And just like Jean just comes back, like, now fight my child.
Imagine Raven just be like, your mum, and that's her only response before she starts just throwing hands.
Fuck. That's how you beat Gladiator.
It's funny enough, I think like this episode's gonna have an easier time with the characters losing their shit than Scarlet Witch had. Because like with these two, like it's reasonable that they could just have a sudden mood swing from the nature of their powers and lose control, as opposed to Scarlet Witch just being a wah wah wumpus baby woo.
I know like trying to write that must have been so hard just to get in, like, because they had to go high up. It's like, fuck, we have. But thankfully, Multiverse of Madness rectifies. So in a weird way, they had it the right idea.
It all comes full circle.
Just like, you know what? She starts off like a normal person. Now she's just, well, I guess in that episode she was genociding like quintillions of people, probably.
I remember Akil was like he basically messaged me and was like, that is not what Wanda would do. That ain't it, Chief.
It's like, I absolutely believe him. However, so many Wanda sims that was like at a weirdly perfect time where that was like, and I think Multiverse of Madness just came out like a while after, and I think just like, man, y'all were gassing up the white woman Joker over here. I think the bigger question is what other Marvel DC men are they going to have to burn at this point? This is like one of the last big ones left, I would say.
Swamp Thing, Man-Thing, Trigon, Dormammu.
Oh. Swamp Thing, Man-Thing is going to be the most fucking, like, whoever has to reach, I do not envy them, because they're going to have to basically look at all this cool art, but understanding the green.
Like, I want so much for them to actually, like, in the animation for that, like, reference the comic panel, like, the way that Swamp Thing does things. Like, have it, like, zoom out of the animation to reveal it's just, like, a panel in a comic, and Swamp Thing's, like, vines are growing between the panels to attack.
That'd be really cool.
Zoom out further to reveal that Man-Thing has been above the comic the whole time, but then Swamp Thing also just kind of reaches out and climbs out of it, because they're just continuously transcending and growing into higher dimensions, and actually visualize that in that sort of abstract way.
It's gonna be so fun, because you'll have a fight like that, and like maybe like the next one is like, okay, and now we're doing like fucking Black Cat versus Catwoman or some shit.
Black Cat,
and then you're gonna
is one of like the three like big like Spider-Man, Batman ones, along with like Mysterio, Scarecrow, and like fucking like
Clayface, Sandman.
Yeah, Clayface, Sandman, Joker, Green Goblin.
And
that's sort of like
range. Black Cat, Catwoman is like, even setting aside how absolutely boring that is, I fear for like knowing certain servers and how bad people were during Santana Wanda. I do not want to imagine what will happen when you take Felicia and Selena and you shove them in.
I feel
It's funny because I'm pretty sure
half of it's gonna be that one flash panel, and they're just gonna spam that.
it's funny. Like the one time, people like I remember like there's like a joy. Oh, it ends in sex. They actually think this is the one time that makes sense. That actually makes sense. That actually,
yeah.
it's like there's that like Mysterio Scarecrow. I just cannot wait for like the blog because they're going to talk about somehow. You know what? Physically, Mysterio is 2 kilotons of TNT in that blog because he scales to Spider-Man. They're going to talk about this fucking.
You gotta think for Mysterio with weaknesses, they gotta put like the clip from that like one game where he just dies in one hit.
That's like the funniest part about any blog that use like relatively normal characters if they in superhuman stuff. Like if Kari and Lily, for example, happened, these two like they're just good at martial artists. They don't have any like super crazy powers. Like they might have ki or whatever, but what? It's like they're normal people. If they did an episode, they'd have to say anyhow. Kari scales to like this fucking sumo dude who destroyed a world-destroying meteor. And Lily scales to these robots that tank nuclear war, like explosions and shit with a straight face.
I think one of the funniest is the G1 blog Ellie versus Clementine.
Oh god!
Like, I don't think it gets G1 or the blog, but it's really funny. Just like I'm just scrolling through right now, like strength, for Ellie. Bust through walls, 2.5 megajoules for Ellie. Speed, Mach 1.3. Reacted to handgun bullets and moved with them in tandem. Durability, there's nothing too crazy here. And then Clementine, strength, can hurt someone who survived an explosion in the kilojoules range. Characters who can harm the governor who survived a 583-ton explosion.
This is like...
And then Mach 1,457.
This is so funny. Just the idea of by every accord, I don't like her like in comparison. Like Ellie should just beat her ass, just absolutely destroy her. But apparently, there's like mobile game stuff that have crazy weapons and shit.
I mean, reasonably,
which helped.
Like Ellie, like if they were to cross over, Ellie would absolutely like take her on like in a direct fight. Would just clobber her, and Clementine would be like just like avoiding and like trying to use what's around her to just sort of get some kind of advantage. But then like in versus debating, well, you know the stats, I don't really go that way. And it's like, come on, versus debating.
I always remind myself of like how I put in James Bond, John Wick, like in the black box. Like Bond has like lightning and laser timing, and I have to remind myself if they were to go through with that, then like James Bond would be faster than fucking Killua.
I mean, he's already so much faster than Wick in the episode because they're putting like missile speed. He's like Mach speeds, and Wick's like, no.
Wick is like it's like at least they say, oh, he dodges bullets. Like Killua's like he's like supposed to be lightning speed, but it's like he's like the only character who does not reach any form of light speed, despite being the character with the most focus on speed. It's like, oh God. Like everyone else is either light speed or above,
like
except
in this season, yeah.
For God,
I didn't even
except for the dude.
I didn't even think about that. Everyone in this season. I mean, I guess like Chosen Undead, was not.
It's like he's not like he's still faster.
I think they still had him faster. Yeah, like the Dragonborn's arrow, which could have been infinite speed.
Right.
Adam and Ant-Man, they have like dodging lasers. Misaka is light speed lightning. Obito and Vader like multiple times the speed of light. Ain't no fucking way Raven and Phoenix are gonna be below Killua in speed. That's not like, happening.
They will not. It's just so funny. Just like everyone here is in some way close to light, except for Killua, the character who has Godspeed as his big power.
The the fucking speedster is like the slowest motherfucker. It's like how if you took like all like the live action like DC Marvel superhero feats, that like the Flash and Quicksilver would be right at the bottom.
You're about to bring up. I'm still. You said Dom here. I can't wait for the time. If Dom were to get in the season, there's like a small chance he actually might be faster than Killua, based on what I saw in like Fast 10. There might actually be like
God.
in tandem. I want the time where it's like Kiryu may be fast, but he's not. But these random bitches can like.
I mean,
move in tandem with a lizard.
I should point out that Dom's card does move in tandem with the EMP that it releases in Fate of the Furious.
Oh, I'm forgetting. Oh wait, no. I forgot. There's a TV show for Fast and Furious. That's 6 seasons. It's on Netflix. I think it's like 6 seasons in like 2 years of all things, and like it's with Dom's cousin, and it's like a spy show.
Oh, wait a
so
minute.
there might be generally really good feats in there.
In the game, in some of the games, you can actually dodge EMPs in cars.
Oh my god.
Imagine you're Killua, you're walking in with this like light speed drip, and then turns out you're like slower than lightning. You're like not even like that much faster than lightning, and Dominic Toretto's running circles around you. It's like
The thing about it,
I can't.
Echo, it's not as good as family.
and he's just fucking decks Killua at like the speed of light.
I wanted he'd be like, like you may have Echo, but do you have Tempo?
Just like the end of Flash Quicksilver, but it's like,
You feel that energy? This is the street. My street. And here, I am king.
and he just starts speed blitzing Killua and throwing a car at him.
The ultimate drop kick that just like it's like the Bowser Smash Force shit. Oh god,
Just kicks Killua back to Japan.
Oh god, maybe it's like I always think about. I have to wonder if like we actually got Steve Evan, would Steve actually be faster than Killua? I have to figure this out.
Can someone? This has happened before where I've asked people to draw something from these videos. Can someone draw just Dominic Toretto like doing Rhythm Echo and just speed blitzing Killua?
I need like
That would be
Deck, I'm gonna say if you are watching this, I specifically need Dominic Toretto, like you have like he just blitzes Rhythm Echo, you have to have the after images behind like with Dominic Toretto. It's like some shit like he's activating a fighting game super move. Like, you just see the after image. Like you just gotta like you just see the electricity that's like resonating through him as he's punching Killer. He's transferring it to himself. Fuck. There's always maybe that supercomputer dude from Hobbs and Shaw has like a really good feat there or something.
God, Dominic Toretto, he's so powerful he can drop a raw level 3 on Killua just because Killua was too slow to avoid it.
They're gonna have to bring up the dude who literally calls himself Black Superman, and he scales to that just because they beat him through like teamwork. Like the Hobbs and Shaw beat him through teamwork. This dude was cybernetics.
Hobbs pulls like a helicopter down. Like he like holds a helicopter from like flying off at one point in the film, I think. Like Deathstroke fucking did that. Are we supposed to believe that Hobbs is like on the level of Deathstroke? Jesus.
I mean, if they crossed over, he would actually win because of those damn contracts for one. And two,
I find it so funny that like Statham has like the same thing in his contract, but like he was willing to go with like the workaround of the street thing, which was funny. But like The Rock is like the kind of guy you'd be like, nah, that still counts as me losing. I can't let that happen.
I cannot wait for that Moana remake. Not because it'll be good. In fact, it's terrifying. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. But because of the idea they're gonna cut out Shiny, just so that you don't have the one moment where like The Rock would get his shit kicked in.
They're gonna like start the song, and then when Maui shows up, he just like picks Tamato up and like benches him.
It's good. You're gonna have like a new original song. Actually, they might put in like if they were clever.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, Tamato. I don't think it's gonna show up. If they were clever, they'd actually take the cut song that was supposed to be in that place. It was gonna be like where Maui hypes up Moana to like essentially teach her how to be Black Air Force. Like, just teach her how to be a menace.
Yeah, let's get down
And-
to
but-
business to defeat.
Yeah, to like defeat the giant lava monster lady. Like that was supposed to be the original plan, but then like no, we need like an actual villain or somewhere. Like we need Maui to get his shit rocked. So let's make this ultimate mega crap.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized I have not watched the preview for Phoenix. Actually, I don't care. I don't care enough to watch it.
It's like I like saw like like I wonder how long episodes because they got through like some parts quicker than I anticipated, but given like I guess the history and like what the Phoenix is, I don't blame them so far. I guess it's actually for the preview like is coming out. Well, I guess in Maya it'd be hours from now since it's like Tuesday here, but we're gonna see that
Yeah.
all the
Jeez,
these
how
big
late
Marvel
is it
DC.
for you? It's gotta be quite late for you, right?
It is 2:30 a.m. But I have since I like don't have like any schooling stuff right now and work is very light. I can stay up longer than normal.
You have stayed up longer than normal, I'd imagine.
It's like because it's summer. I like usually like thankfully like my work I can like start it much since like online. I can like start it much like
Yeah.
later like whenever I want basically. It's like I usually just start it at like 9, but because like it's special, I don't have to this week. I don't have to like really worry about that, so I can just like log on like 3 o'clock for all I care and just get it done.
Well, that said, this prediction has been going for 2.5 hours, and I think we've said what we needed to. I think for the matchup. Who do we?
Half of it's been like. Oh, say it again. Sorry.
Explanations notwithstanding. Why did I say that? Like that means nothing for what I'm about to say. With that explanation, like who do we think is going to win? Not like who we think should win, but like who what has the right vibe for like a death battle win out of like with everything taken into consideration?
Well, I believe that based on the circumstances, just generally how they feel things out, especially just considering a couple of the last episodes, I think Raven sounds like a safer bet, just because the soul stuff it just feels like such a sticking point that it feels like she has so many good examples of it in general that I feel like if they were to like that feels like a much easier win con than like Raven just nukes her.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Raven just nukes her, if Jean just nukes her. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jean wins because this is they have called this the closest of the season, and yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm on like the same wavelength here. It definitely feels like this matchup more leans in death battles way of doing things to a Raven win, because winning through abilities is more something they do now with Marvel DC on this scale as opposed to winning through sheer power output, which is the main thing in Phoenix's favor. With that taken away, it comes a battle of like resurrection versus soul attacks. I mean, also like Phoenix also has like conceptual erasure as well. It's just that that's not her go-to the way that soul stuff is with Raven, from what I know at least.
Yeah,
and I would say that it probably would lean to Raven winning more often than not, just obviously not always.
Yeah, that's where I'm feeling.
I've gotten the last
I think the
predictions correct, so I'm okay with losing one. Like all the last ones, I was right. I'm okay with this one.
I was like, I guess it had a perfect record so far. It's like, I mean, it hasn't been too hard to guess. Like,
It's not been that hard.
I know some of my friends. He was really like paranoid about like not paranoid. That's a semi meme, but it's like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like Chosen Undead Dragonborn, like because like there was like some talk earlier back in the old community server like about Universal Dark Souls and like the resurrection stuff, and it's like they're just. You'll be fine. They'll just say Dragonborn just screams at him really loud. And that's basically how it was. He just kills him too hard.
I was very confident in all of them. Like, even with, like, Obito Vader, I was on the side of, I personally would go Vader, but I think Obito's gonna win.
Oh, yeah. I kind of knew Obito was winning for him. Yeah. It just felt like the way that, like, just given past events, like, yeah, sounds like Obito.
Definitely. It had, like, it was a vibe.
The only one I was like potentially unsure about was like Ant-Man and Atom, and that was just because like I don't fucking know what they do. Like Adam is like the most niche DC character. Like he's like the second most niche comic book character they've had on the show. If I'm being blunt.
Second.
Silver Samurai.
I would probably say that Bucky O'Hare is a bit more niche than any of them.
As a comic character, wait, is Bucky
Yeah.
O'Hare actually like?
Yeah, Bucky's a
Oh,
comic
shit.
character.
Oh shit, that's news to me.
Yeah,
I
Bucky's
was more- I guess I was more
yeah.
I was more thinking Marvel DC, I guess, when I said that. But if it was comics as a whole,
They have used like a couple characters who debut from comics outside of Marvel DC. Like there is Bucky, there is
Yeah.
Spawn, there is Omni-Man and Homelander, there is Ramona Flowers, there is the Ninja Turtles, all of them obviously.
yeah.
Probably some.
Saitama's from a webcomic.
Yeah, Saitama is from a webcomic, which is a comic still. Same with
Yeah.
Tatsumaki, obviously.
The goat. So she's the goat. But I was like thinking in just terms of Marvel DC specific when I said that, because like yeah, it's just-
I think for Raymond, his only competition is Harada and Booster Gold, and the rest are definitely more well known than him.
I definitely think Booster's on. I'd also give Booster way more just because he just has more stuff in
But then,
general,
like,
like
at
that
the
focuses
same
on
time,
him.
like Raymond is very popular because of Legends of Tomorrow. Like he has that to his name. Booster Gold doesn't have that. The best Booster Gold
It's like-
plot is some cartoons that aren't talked about as much anymore, and his one episode appearance in Smallville, which was great, but that's one
It's like-
episode on a show no one talks about anymore.
Adam feels like the guy. Like I forgot Legends of Tomorrow's a fucking thing, but because I try to forget the CW after I watch Supergirl, and I just like, okay, I give up. Y'all fucked. Y'all. I had limits as is. This was.
Y'all cook the frying pan and not the food.
I'm glad that that new Superman show was a thing because God, I needed some like
I mean,
whole actually.
Superman and Lois is a CW show. It is very good, but it's very good because it is only CW by proxy. It is basically a completely different company who made the show.
Right.
Why it's so much better. And the only other
Yeah.
CW show that I can look back and say I like is probably Lucifer, which is also barely a CW show, like at all.
Yeah, yeah. Like I feel like keeping up with my event, like the recent My Adventure of Superman. It's like it is just hilarious how this is like like it's like an anime to the point they actually said like Superman's like transformation there was inspired by magical girls, specifically Precure. And I'm taking a fucking opportunity to show that show. If y'all haven't seen that shit, you better fucking watch it. I will take this opportunity right here
I
and now.
genuinely have been looking so much to find just time to be able to watch the show, but there's so much on my plate. Like, I had to record something basically all day yesterday, and the day before that, I had to do all, like, the finishing touches on the episode Not Death Battle that just dropped, like, earlier today.
Yeah.
And then there's so much work to do. Like...
Yeah.
Chances are after this is over, like, after we finish recording, I'm gonna have to go do something. In fact, I probably gotta go cook food in, like, 10 minutes. Which is fun,
shit.
because that's what you were doing before we started recording. So, with 2 hours and 33 odd minutes under our belt, we have said what we need to say. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being here, Shulk. Very fun. It's amazing how this is the first time we've ever spoken, because it does not come across like that.
Yeah. Oh god! Next time it's just like the perfect like second time around. And it's like multiple people. I have to match how this goes.
I should also say, when I say first time talking, I mean in call. We have talked outside of call before.
Yeah.
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 So what do we think about?
Fuck you, Phantom, if you're watching this.
What do we think about Wriggle Nightbug versus Scold?
Alright, so in my expert Toho opinion here, I have to say this match has a lot of potential in terms of just debatability and animation potential. I think we should specifically start as a DBX to measure out the views, but I think in due time it can get so many views. So Omniland Homelander, the fuck is that gonna do?
Once the DBX hits a solid 479 million views, I think that's going to push him to make the Death Battle.
Absolutely. Shit's gonna surpass like Shit's gonna surpass like some of the shit the Weeknd puts out in songs.
Yeah. I'm just gonna change the thumbnail on screen to that out of nowhere and just like that's what they're looking
It
at
should
now.
it should just phase in at the absolute last minute, like a quick phase.
Yeah, why not?
Just
So you can say goodbye to them, and then I'll stop the recording.
adios.
Good enough. Goodbye, everyone. Hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you for the next video, which I want to say will be... I don't want to say it, actually. I changed my mind. Goodbye.